That man, Saskatchewan Husky linebacker Nick Weeb, second leading tackler in Canada West, will try to get his Huskies back on the winning ways here today in Calgary, and he'll face that gentleman, Xavier Vaillancourt, making his second ever start for the Calgary Dinos. It's the Huskies and the Dinos on the Canada West Football Showcase. A hot start last week by the Alberta Golden Bears as they got out to a 20-0 lead on Saskatchewan despite this pick six by Finn Marcotte-Cribb. Huskies were unable to get the push in the second half to stay undefeated on the season. Meanwhile, in Regina, a great early start by the Dinos on this Gob Ding touchdown, but it was a second half comeback by the Regina Rams that got them their first victory on the season. There you look at the Canada West standings. The Alberta Golden Bears and UBC Thunderbirds both at 3-0. They'll face each other tonight. Meanwhile, the Huskies trying to get back in the winning column, and the Dinos looking for their first win on the season. There you get a good look at downtown Calgary from McMahon Stadium. A beautiful night for football here in southern Alberta. Doug McLean alongside Justin Dunk for the Huskies and the Dinos. And Justin, in talking to Coach Flory this week, he said for the Huskies it may have been a little bit of preparation, some challenges with preparation that cost them that game last week against the Golden Bears.
That's right. He really took the loss on him. He felt like he should have managed the week better after that emotional, energy-draining homecoming loss. Over 10,000 fans at Griffith Stadium, big rivalry game. He said he should have gave his team some time to recover physically, but probably more importantly, emotionally, and he really put it on himself, and I expect a sharp focus from Flory and his team tonight.
And one player that will probably help him do that, last year first team All-Canadian Daniel Perry, receiver for the Huskies.
Definitely. I really believe that when Saskatchewan's offense is at its most productive, it's when it's running through Perry and he's seeing a solid amount of targets. They do spread the ball around, but Perry can run all the different routes in the route tree, and he can get deep for a big play just like that. Against Manitoba in week 1, 5 catches for 150 yards in the week 2 win, 5 for 75 last week, just 2 for 1 yard. Perry needs to be involved for Saskatchewan's offense to score points.
On the other side of the ball, another player that needs to be involved for the Calgary Dinos, it's Gob Ding.
And he's going to see a lot of targets. He has quickly become the Dinos' #1 receiver in this offense, and perhaps more importantly, developed a rapport with Xavier Vaillancourt off the hop here to start his U Sports career. Dang is another potential highly skilled guy that can get vertical in a hurry in this University of Calgary offense.
Now let's get down to the field, and the third member of our crew, Ryan Flaherty.
Well, for student athletes, the line between those two roles is often blurred, and certainly the case for the two young men who will be calling the signals here tonight. For Saskatchewan's Anton Amandroud and Calgary's Xavier Vaillancourt, the football field is a classroom too, and in this class there is a test every week. Now, for both guys, it's been a bit of a different route to get to this point. Anton Amandroud was anointed the Huskies starter prior to the season. And as for Xavier Vaillancourt, well, he started the year as the Dinos' backup until he was thrust into his first career start last week following an injury to Dom Britton. But no matter how both men got to this point, after suffering losses last week, now is a chance to show what they learned from those losses and apply that latest bit of knowledge to the next test of their football education.
So you look at the two starting quarterbacks Ryan just talked about, Anton Amandroud for the Saskatchewan Huskies and Xavier Vaillancourt for the Calgary Dinos. We're moments away from kickoff here in Calgary. It's the Huskies and the Dinos on the Canada West Football Showcase.
The University of Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Doug McLean, Justin Dunk. Beautiful night here in Calgary, 19 degrees, mostly sunny, a little bit of wind. Justin, you were down on the field. You said it wasn't overly windy down there, didn't feel too bad. Not expected to pick up a lot tonight, but it's always a potential factor here in Calgary.
Definitely, man. If you're a quarterback, you got to cut that football, especially when you're going towards the scoreboard side. What end is that?
That's south.
There you go. Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
You bet. There you got to look at head coach Scott Flory of the Saskatchewan Huskies. 5th in the U Sports top 10 this week. And now we look at head coach Wayne Harris in his 9th season.
Check out Harris with the Jumpman logo on.
Yeah.
A little swaggy from the head coach.
Exactly.
I like it.
Looking sharp in the scarlet. We have to make sure it's not red, it's scarlet, right? So yeah, we got to.
Good. You're on your P's and Q's early.
Exactly. You got to be nice here. Just about set to go. Huskies in all white today with the green helmets. And the Calgary Dinos in the red jerseys, red helmets, and black pants. As mentioned, Huskies coming off a rare home loss at Griffith Stadium. Last one back in early 2018. And it will be David Soley about to get things underway here at McMahon. That one is going to go all the way through the back of the end zone. Get the Huskies on the board early. The single from David Soley.
Going to get our first look at the first-year starter for the Dinos, Viancourt, who is mostly a pocket passer. Last week, though, was forced to use his legs a little bit, but he's most comfortable in the pocket, throwing dots like that for touchdowns. He had 2 of them against the Rams last week.
Was just making his 2nd start, 4th year with the program. Came to the Dinos in the COVID year, but just his 2nd start. So they will line up 1st and 10 on their own 35. 3 receivers to Viancourt's right. Hands this one off, and that is going to go absolutely nowhere. A loss of a couple for Nick Sua.
Sua gets the carry there, University of Waterloo transfer behind this big offensive line, but they are young, and part of the reason for that is Matt Carson was supposed to start at left tackle, but he got a full ride scholarship to the University of Louisiana Monroe in the NCAA. Actually played a week ago, might have a chance to start this year, so big loss for the Dinos, but shows you the talent level in the program.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Flags, some early movement. Looked like it might have been on Calgary, and it is going to back them up another 5 yards. And that's going to push them into 2nd and 16.
Calgary, number 85. Repeat 2nd down.
That's our referee here today, Artis Alexin.
Take a look at the top of your frame there. You'll see the early movement. Been a talking point in the NFL, and they're calling it in the Canada West at least.
2nd and long. Viancourt under pressure, and he goes down. In on that sack, Nathan Joulet for the Huskies. So a nice start defensively for Saskatchewan.
Looked like Reese McCormick had some big push in the middle there as well. That indeed was number 91 getting to the quarterback. They lost John Leggett, who was an absolute powerhouse in the middle of this 3-4 setup. And McCormick is trying to prove that he can fill those big shoes in the middle of Warren Musica's defense.
Joel Pipke punting this week for the Dinos, gets off a good one. And the Dinos do a great job getting downfield in coverage as they will limit the game there for Rhett Vavra. Might have even been a loss on that return, and that will set up the Huskies still in pretty good field position just outside their own 50-yard line.
Eamon comes out onto the field after suffering his first loss in his young starting career with the Huskies, and you can see the ball was bouncing around a little bit last week against the University of Alberta. So ball security can sometimes lead to confidence or pull it away from you. Let's look if he has it tonight.
Amon finds an open receiver. Huge hit there as Caleb Morin hauls that one in from Anton Amon.
Big time hit on the tackle from the Dinos, trying to make their presence known here. That's Sauce Odom-Wingy coming across from his linebacker spot to make a sure tackle there. Calgary, it's been a talking point of Wayne Harris. They want to make sure they bring the physicality on a consistent basis.
Amon drops back, quick out. That one hauled in by the gentleman Justin talked about earlier. That's Daniel Perry. Just had 2 catches last week, already one here early.
It's like Scott Flory was watching our pregame show.
Well, hey, exactly.
But he was down on the field at the same time.
Well, you know, he had the ear, it wasn't AirPods. He had the headset in, so he knew what we were talking about.
He sees and hears all. There you see Perry in the starting lineup. Rhett Vavra has 4 touchdowns for the Huskies as well. So when they get down in that red zone or the money zone, whatever you want to call it, look for Vavra to rev it up.
Both Kabongo and Frank in the backfield right now for Amon. Play action to Frank. Amon holds it, then dumps it off underneath to Kabongo. And he'll be wrapped up after a gain of about 8.
On that snap, you see both tailbacks being utilized. Both of them should get a decent amount of work, share the load tonight. Fake to Frank and then dumps it down to Kabongo just when it looked like there was nothing there. Credit Amon for being very patient, and Kabongo staying with his quarterback there, popping free late for a second and short situation.
They're going to give him 9 yards, so as Justin said, second and short here now for the Huskies. Amon in the shotgun. Motion to his right, 3 receivers. One comes back underneath, handoff inside. And I'm not sure he got there. Good push by the Dinos, may have limited the gain and kept him short. That was Caden Miller in on the carry for the Huskies.
And Flory talked to us about this. He realized back a few Hardy Cups ago that he wanted to have 3 legitimate running backs on his roster that could tote the rock. He didn't want to rely on just one guy, and at the time it was Tyler Chow. And when he got banged up, there weren't other guys that had meaningful reps. So you've already seen 3 running backs being used by the Huskies in this game, although they did not get the first down. So what is it here, partner? 3rd and inches?
3rd and inches. Just a short gain there for Miller. Amon now under center for the Huskies. He'll keep it. And again, a good surge by the Dinos. And this is all going to depend on the spot. If he got it, it's not by much. They're going to bring the chains in to measure this one. Dinos already getting their offense ready.
All depends on the spot here. The offensive line didn't get much push, and you could see Amon not able to surge forward there, and of course the Dinos pull him backwards there. This is all going to depend on the spot. It looks like it's going to be very, very close. A critical measurement here.
The chain gang will come out, and we're going to get a great look to see if this is a first down Huskies or a first down Dinos. Oh, he did not get it. Early turnover for the Dinos defense, and they'll take over at their own 37.
When I think of measurements like that, I think of any given Sunday. The 6 inches in front of your face. Football comes down to inches sometimes, and that's what happened right here. The Dinos being physical at the point of attack. Look at all those red helmets pushing away, not giving Amon a chance to surge forward on second effort.
No slouch of an offensive line either for the Huskies. Good push by the Dinos, and that'll set up Viancourt. First down at his own 37. 2 receivers to his left, Sua in the backfield to his right. Fake to Sua. Come back to the outside to Dang, and he's unable to hang on. in double coverage. It'll be 2nd and 10 Dinos.
You see Catley Joseph on the coverage there, an outstanding corner for this defense that has some new faces up front. We talked about McCormick already has a sack. Nathan Goulet can be a beast off the edge. My boy, Nick Weeb in the middle, number 43, is as good as they come at linebacker. And then keep your eye on 28 in this game, Tanner Reiber, starting at safety for the Huskies.
Receivers in motion, 3 to the left of Viancourt. He'll drop back, throws that one, nicely done. Caught right at the first down marker. That one brought in by Rowan Reed. Just his 4th reception in his first full season as a Calgary Dino.
Viancourt continuing to show some nice zip on his passes. Tight window throw there on the comeback route. Great shot for a first down.
Just to first down yardage for the Dinos. Trying a late substitution here are Calgary. Evan Smith trying to get into the game, and I think the Dinos are going to be forced to call a timeout. Some confusion on the Dino bench in terms of personnel. And Viancourt will come over and chat with head coach Wayne Harris and offensive coordinator Jabari Arthur.
You can see Wayne Harris clearly frustrated there, and I think we could hear him from all the way up here say, we can't do that. He was frustrated with the offensive setup. Viancourt comes over, gets to talk to Jabari Arthur, the young offensive coordinator there. He is the only guy, except for the person holding the water bottles on the Dino sideline, with a yellow shirt on. He's a young, energetic coordinator, of course, played his pro football with the Calgary Stampeders, has been a great addition in terms of energy to this program under Wayne Harris.
He's definitely pretty easy to spot. So following the timeout, 1st and 10 Dinos up at their own 47-yard line. Sue to the left now of Viancourt. This time the ball does go to him. Sua cuts back to his left, and he's met immediately at the 50 by a group of Husky linebackers. Nixon Vole, one of them in on the tackle for Saskatchewan.
You can see Vole flow to that play very well, coming across the formation, following his receiver Gagnon on the play, and then gets up there for a run fit, a bunch of green helmets there to stack that run up.
2nd and 7 now for the Dinos on their side of center. Viancourt, 3-step drop, good hard throw to the outside. And that will be for first down yardage to his favorite target, Gob Dang.
I love seeing this out of young quarterbacks. 3 steps, get the ball out quickly, in rhythm. This is just a simple one-on-one matchup on the backside with your best receiver. You don't have to go take a deep shot. That is a lower percentage pass, of course, but you can bring the defense up a little bit. Quick out route for a first down. I really like how he's seeing the field early. Now, he was able to do that last week as well, but he's got to show he can continue that for a full 60 minutes.
Sets up another first down for the Dinos. Viancourt, pressure coming, steps up into the pocket. Got a receiver open downfield, but well covered on that play was Dante Carbone, and Viancourt unable to connect with him.
Viancourt really comfortable in the pocket, moves around there with an ease and a calmness. You can see him here. Nick Weeb flashes, steps up away from it, and knows he's got that one-on-one matchup down the field with Carbone, as Doug mentioned, just a little bit off on the throw, but I like how he's moving subtly in the pocket.
2nd and 10 on the Husky 49. Sua moves to Viancourt's left. Viancourt just dumps it over top to Sua on the delay screen, but just a little bit out of the reach of the former Waterloo Warrior.
I like the play design there. Sua check release, leaks out late, and Viancourt just overthrows it. He's going to want that one back, man. That could have gone for a lot of yards. And you see there, just a little chip release, check release, same thing. That touch ball just over the outstretched hands of Sua, and you can see the little lap. He knew there was some wide open space.
Not a lot of white jerseys around Sua. He had some yards to run. Pipke again with the kick. Here's Vavra with the return, and he is met and brought down at the 23-yard line by Chris Mashenza.
The Huskies going to have a long field to go. This was something that Wayne Harris talked about with us, is that he didn't want his offense to have long fields. He felt like the defense needed to be better, force some 2-and-outs, and also allow his offense to have some short fields and be better in the field position game. And we've seen on 2 punts now the cover unit for the Dinos be spot on, disciplined in their lanes and making sure tackles.
Ammonroot gets it to Kabongo, comes back inside where he is brought down after a gain of about 4. In on the tackle there for Calgary, Isaiah Smith.
Kapongo has been for the Huskies this season. By that I mean starting games, and I think part of that is because they don't want to put a huge load on Riker Frank, and you can see him use his quicks here. Early penetration up the middle, so Kabongo sidesteps it and still gets a couple.
Ammonroot now, second and 8 rather. Out to the flat, and a good quick tackle there will limit the gain. Morin in on the catch, and he's brought down very quickly by Jordan Chisda.
This Dinos defense bringing the physicality early and showing Ammonroot and the Huskies offense that this is not going to be an easy night to score points. I really like the way the Dinos defense, coached by Matt Barry, the defensive coordinator, has approached the Huskies early on. Loads of physicality. That's what you want to see out of your defense, and it's controlled, most importantly, because this Huskies defense can get deep on you in a hurry if you're over-aggressive.
Solely with the kick, and very little on the return there for Deacon Taylor Young. And back to your point, Justin, actually before we do that, let's go down to Ryan on the field.
Well, with the Dinos taking over here, a good chance to tell you a little bit more about their new starting quarterback, Xavier Vinecourt, making his very first start at home. But talking to him this week, he said it doesn't matter, home, road, not a big deal. He's not thinking about it as an extra special game. But he just said it is special to get to this point and have this opportunity. Of course, he didn't start the season as the number 1, but despite coming in to replace an injured Dom Britton, head coach of the Dinos, Wayne Harris, says he's not closing the door to having Vinecourt stick around as the number 1. If he earns the job, it may be his longer term.
Thanks, Ryan. Vinecourt on the draw. And a decent pickup of about 7 yards for the Dinos, and that's Matthew Clark into the game. First appearance this season. Last year, 4th in Canada West in rushing with 382 yards.
He's in there with his quarterback, Vinecourt, who earned the nickname the Cochrane Rifle from what he did out there in high school. Very impressive career before he got to the University of Calgary, and that's why it means so much to him to start at home here. His family and friends are going to be watching.
And off again to Clark. He'll cut to his left. Back up. There's room there. Matthew Clark gets across midfield. Big gain before he is brought down on the play by a host of Huskies.
If you didn't know, number 28 is telling you it's Clark time, okay? It is Clark time. I'm about to come in this game, run for first downs against this Huskies front that is supposed to be stout, and get this offense moving. I love this guy's burst after just a couple carries, and his quarterback does too.
Second-year player out of Brantford, Ontario. And hey, let's go right back to him. Here's Clark again. Another good surge by the O-line. And Clark, he'll get near to the Husky 45-yard line. They're going to mark it actually at the 47. So again, putting the Dinos in second and manageable.
I know Brantford, Ontario can produce some ballers. Obviously, that's the home of Wayne Gretzky, who got it done on the ice. But in my high school days at John F. Rest High School in Guelph, we actually crossed over with the Brantford High School loop, and there were a number of talented players that came out of there to play U Sports ball.
Matthew Clark certainly one of them. Blitz coming. Here's Vinecourt. Throws out to the flat and again to Dang. Catley Joseph and Lane Novak in on the tackle for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Chains are going to move first down, and again, I like from Viancourt, he's getting the ball out quickly in rhythm. That's really a great sign from a young quarterback starting, even though, as Doug has mentioned, he's been with the program since 2020, so he's really got an understanding of this offense, but to get in game speed and be letting the ball go in rhythm, it makes it that much harder to defend. It almost makes it indefensible if you throw it in rhythm the majority of the time.
4 receivers to Viancourt's right, but it'll go back to the left, again trying to find Dang, but just a little bit beyond the reach of the Dinos' dynamic receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10 now for the Dinos. Another solid drive for Calgary here in the first quarter.
Another quick throw, I like it. It's just a one-on-one matchup on the back side with your best receiver, Dang on Joseph. One-on-one, best on best, and Dang should have came up with that ball.
Dang and Carbone to the boundary side for Viancourt. Blitz coming to the left, picked up. Now Viancourt steps up. Nowhere to go, and he'll just airmail that one into the cheerleaders. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. So the Huskies bend a little bit, don't break. And now we'll see if the Dinos elect to punt it, or, and it's likely going to be another punt. Again, we didn't mention Chris McLean not dressed here today, so their starting kicker not available to them.
That's right, a guy that has a big, booming leg, and smart play there from Viancourt to throw it away, knowing they're trying to play the field position game and have an opportunity, if you don't turn it over and force something, to pin the Huskies deep.
Kick by Pipke. Vavra on the return, and it'll be about a 7-yard return for Saskatchewan, and that'll set them up on about their own 23-yard line.
The cover units arriving with authority. Oh my goodness, there's a bunch of Dinos down there, but no matter what position you play, you got to make an impact, and that's Peyton Price, a receiver, getting it done on the punt cover team.
Ammonrood now will set up on his own 23, 1st and 10. Kabongo flares out to his right. Frank still in the backfield. And a swing pass out of the reach of Daniel Perry. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for that gentleman, Anton Ammonrood.
Ammonrood, it looked like there just didn't quite catch that snap cleanly, in the ball on the bubble screen a little bit in front of Perry. The Saskatchewan offense just a little bit off early on.
2nd and 10, Huskies, ball on their own 23. Frank remains in the backfield for Saskatchewan. Pressure coming from the Dinos. Ammonrood has it picked off! And this one's going back for 6. Nate Boschman. Nate Boschman has played some linebacker this year, steps in at the safety spot, and he stepped right in front of that Ammonrood pass and waltzed into the end zone to move the Dinos in front.
Boschman stood out to me last week against the University of Regina. He was physical, and here he gets his hands on the football. Man coverage, out route, undercut, touchdown for Deuce. That is a big momentum-changing play for the Dinos.
Convert put through by Calgary kicker today, Vince Triambari. And that puts the Dinos up 7-1. We'll get another look at it here.
It's cover 0 across the board. Boschman coming downhill. He's normally lined up at safety, but in that call asked to play man coverage, and that can allow you to be very versatile in the back end. If your safety is great in man coverage, as Boschman looked there, you can really mix up the looks and potentially confuse a young quarterback there. It looked like Ammonrood was just going through his normal progression, thought he had the out route easy, but Boschman took it away, and that bench was excited. On the other side, not so much.
Boschman's second leading tackler a year ago for the Calgary Dinos. So far this year, 18.5 tackles, his first pick of the season, just his second interception of the year for Calgary. Now Triambari will kick the ball back to the Huskies. Here's Miller on the return for Saskatchewan. He'll get up just to the 30-yard line, stays in bounds for an extra yard or two. And that'll set up Saskatchewan 1st and 10 at their own 30, trying to respond to the Boschman touchdown.
This is a test for the young starter in Ammanrud, coming off a loss last week, then throwing a pick six early on the road. Let's see how he responds. And talking to Scott Flory, he said that this kid has largely been unflappable. He doesn't really show his emotions too much, which I think is a great thing. But let's see if he can turn the tide here.
Kabongo to his right in the backfield. He'll take the ball and cut it back to the right. And he is brought down by a mix of Dinos, including defensive end Dorian Zadima.
Kabongo has been the guy that started games for the Huskies, and part of the reason is his athleticism. You see him with the hurdle there, jumping over people, the speed to get to the corner for a touchdown. Very dynamic. They like to use him more in the passing game over Riker Frank. He's a guy that the coaching staff has a lot of trust in.
2nd and 6 Huskies. Ammanrud goes over the top, but a little beyond the reach of his receiver there, Everett Iverson. And for a Calgary Dino defense, the 27th and last ranked pass defense in the country, they've looked pretty good in this opening quarter.
For the people that don't know, that's last. They're giving up, 364 yards per game, and Ammanrud on the other side is leading not just Canada West, but all of U Sports football in passing yardage per game. So this is a start that not a lot of people saw coming, but perhaps there was some confidence built last week, even though it was a loss in Regina for the Dinos, that they didn't get blown out of that game.
Punt comes on. Good one here by Sully to Taylor Green. And Taylor Green is met by Reed LeClaire, who brings him down at the Dino 28, where they will set up with 24 seconds to go here in this opening quarter. Dinos up by 6. There you get a look at Xavier Vaillancourt. 3 for 8 so far passing today. Favorite target, guy you talked about in the opening, Gob Dang.
Clark in the backfield there with him, getting another series here. Looks like he's got some juice. Let's see what he's got.
Carbone goes in motion and then comes back in front of Vaillancourt, and now Clark up the middle. Good burst there by the Dino running back. He's brought down by Seth Hundeby.
Clark's got some energy to him. He's clearly a bigger physical presence in the backfield compared to Sua, who I think is a great running back in his own right, but a different element for the Huskies to try to defend here. And you can see simple power play. One puller up the middle. Clark cuts off that for a solid gain on first down.
Now it's Dang in motion for the Dinos. And again, they'll go to Clark. And that time, nothing doing. As the Huskies, again with Hundeby, will end the quarter on a positive note, forcing a punt by the Dinos. Good, solid start for Calgary. Courtesy Nate Boschman's pick 6. They're up 7-1 on the Canada West Football Showcase.
The University of Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
"7-1, the Calgary Dinos lead the Saskatchewan Huskies after the opening quarter of play. Doug McLean along with Justin Dunk. We talked a lot about Xavier Vaillancourt here today, and he's had a little bit of help along the way by a fairly well-known quarterback in these parts.
He definitely has. The head coach and general manager of the Calgary Stampeders, Dave Dickinson, who was a CFL legend in his own right at the quarterback position, had some words of encouragement before the game tonight on the sideline. You can see them talking there, and they know each other really well because Vaillancourt went to Dave Dickinson's passing camps that he runs, of course, in the CFL offseason for 4 weeks. And he said that Vaillancourt was one of his top students at those camps, and it came down to the University of Calgary and Western University. Greg Marshall was after him hard, actually came out to Calgary, but ultimately Vaillancourt wanted to stay here, and that helps Dickinson be able to keep a close eye on him. And they talk a little bit of strategy, and they also talk about skills at the quarterback position. So it was a really cool moment to see Dickinson just stroll across and have a chat with this young quarterback before his second career start. He was really excited to see what he could do, and Dickinson feels like he's a guy with a lot of upside for this Calgary program.
Vancouver 3 of 8 in that opening quarter. Pipke now with the punt for the Dinos. That one initially fumbled and picked up, and he's got room up the sideline, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line. Branson Pipko on the return for the Huskies, setting them up in great field position to start this second quarter. Got a flag, though, in behind the play. And it looks like that's going to nullify the return from Pipko, which may have brought a bit of life to a Husky team that looked a little flat in that opening quarter.
Definitely, but
During the return, illegal block, Saskatchewan number 45. First down.
tell there was a flag because all of the non-dressers on the Calgary Dinos were pointing towards the field. That's on the Huskies. That's not necessarily egregious there, but the Dinos get fortunate. That could have really flipped the momentum in this game.
So instead of being across midfield, the Huskies will set up at their own 22. Riker Frank in the backfield for the Huskies, and here he comes. Good burst by Frank, who is brought down before an even bigger gain by number 22, Nate Boschman. Of course, the gentleman responsible for that earlier touchdown. So Riker Frank getting into the action for Saskatchewan.
Frank into the game, simple downhill run, nice lane created by the offensive line, and Kabongo, his backfield buddy there, getting a kick out block. I really like Frank, square to the line of scrimmage, running hard downhill, a load to try and take down.
First carry of the game, had 4 carries for 12 yards last week against Alberta. They get it right back to him. Here's Frank again, bowls his way across midfield for first down yardage. Riker Frank already outpacing his totals from a week ago.
This dog's hungry, man. Just feed him. 4 carries last week. He's got 2 here to start the second quarter. I know this was a plan to start Kabongo and then go to Frank in the second quarter, but this man is running with a physical demeanor here. Back-to-back first down runs for a Husky offense that needed some energy.
Seeing both running backs listed second on the depth chart having big impact here today in Clark and Frank. Inside screen, and the Huskies will get up close to first down territory. Rhett Vavra on the receiving end of that Ammonrood throw.
Vavra revving it up, and I'm sure he's happy to see Frank get going as well, his quarterback in Ammonrood. It's always much easier, especially on first down, when you can turn the ball off to a dynamic running back in Frank and his third year with this team. I think this guy has all kinds of upside in this offense.
Emenrud back to Frank. Hole opens up and he keeps chugging away. Riker Frank finally brought down by Boscheman. And Riker Frank, back to what we heard Coach Flory talk about. He said he likes having multiple running backs, and you're seeing exactly why here right now.
And Frank is the third ball carrier to get a carry today. And check this out, spin move in traffic, flipping guys off him. What a run from 34. Give this man the rock some more. He has looked great since coming into the game for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Came in with 48 yards total on the season. He's going to get another carry here, but gets strung out and then brought down. Good tackle of a big man, and then a little more pushing and shoving after. Dobson in on the stop for Calgary, and then a little bit of extracurricular activity.
Getting physical down there. Dinos defense did a great job there stringing this run out to the sideline. Frank probably ran 30 yards to actually use a few and look at right at the end of the play.
It's Pipko in on that along with Liam Reed. There you see Ben Dobson. Moves from a halfback spot to a linebacker spot this week. Emenrud. He's got time. Throws it out to Vavra, who is tackled high there by Jordan Chisda. But that will limit the gain and force a kick now for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
But at least on the drive for Saskatchewan, they change the field position here, and it looks like they're going to take a shot at a field goal. And part of that reason is because that physical wrestling-style tackle from Chisda, just throwing Vavra to the mat.
Well, the old home of Stampede Wrestling. Hey, you got to join in the mix. And Chisda, not sure what his nickname might be. We'll get to that maybe later. Here is the kick from Soley, and it is up and good. Getting the Huskies to within 3, and it has not been a great start for David Soley. Just 2 for 5 in field goals so far this year. So a nice one for him there, a 41-yarder to make the score 7-4.
That's got to help his confidence because it's a 41-yarder into that win that looks like it's died down just a little bit, but you can see the football hold up, so actually longer than a 41-yard kick, and that's got to help out Solely for sure on the percentage of made kicks this year, but also in his head.
Now Biancourt back out on the field, 1st and 10 at his own 35. 2 receivers in motion. Clark in the backfield, and now pressure coming. Biancourt tucks it under, but he will be brought down on the play by Chaz Walker. Chaz Walker will pick up the 8th sack of the season for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
It looked like this entire play just kind of got all messed up. They're trying to set up a screen to the left side of the field. Huskies having none of it, reading that play right away, and then Biancourt just has to eat it.
2nd and 19 now for Biancourt. Pressure coming from his left. He'll throw to the opposite side, and just like Boscheman, this one is going back for a touchdown. Nixon Vole picks that one off in a mirror play to the one we saw earlier by the Dinos.
Almost the exact same spot on the field, and this is what happens when you throw out of the rhythm of the play. You can see Biancourt was looking down the middle, then switched his eyes to the right on the outside, and just never, ever saw Nixon Vole breaking downhill on that football. Easy pick 6, schemed up by Warren Musica, the defensive coordinator. A little switch up in coverage with Vole coming downhill.
Nixon Vole's 2nd interception of the season. Flags flying on that convert. Fifth-year player out of Shaunavon. And we'll see what the call is. Looks like it's going to go against the Dinos. So convert would stand. The call here momentarily from Artis Olekson.
Which one? First one?
He's going to talk things over first, but a huge momentum swing. You mentioned it earlier, Justin, that earlier drive by the Huskies that flipped the field, and then they're able to capitalize with that pick six from Nixon Vole. Now we're going to get Olekson now coming over to talk with Wayne Harris. Still trying to sort out what's going on here with this convert. I think they're going to make them re-kick it. So it's actually going to go against the Huskies, not the Dinos. Easily the most attention that may be paid to a convert all night, unless, of course, we come down to a game winner later. But
points are precious, man. You got to make
they
sure
are.
you're right.
Still no formal announcement, but regardless, we're going to kick it over and pretend it didn't happen and solely back out to try to extend the Husky lead to 4. And he does just that. So with 9:24 to go here in this second quarter, the Saskatchewan Huskies trailed early 7-1, but they've now moved back in front 11-7.
This is some great defense by the Huskies. Look at William Parks, number 99. He's listed as a defensive lineman. Does a great job of getting out in coverage there. That allows Vole to pass off the inside receiver and go to the outside receiver who was running another underneath or shorter route, I should say. It looked like just a hitch route. And that makes the pick six happen right there because Parks gets a great wide drop to take away the first short throw, and then Vole can undercut the other one for a pick six.
How different is it for a quarterback? You have your first start last week, you're excited, everything's going on. Now you come, your second start, there's some film on you. How is it different from week 1 to week 2 as a young quarterback in Canada West?
You have to know, even after just 1 week of tape, they're starting to look at your tendencies, right? And on that particular play, 2 hitch routes, Vinecourt's getting it out in rhythm that the matchup on defense, or the switch up on defense, I should say, would just be to make sure you get those underneath routes covered, especially in the cover 3 that Vinecourt knows from watching the film the Huskies like to run. 3 deep defenders, and usually there would just be 1 defender underneath there in between the hitches, but the scheme of the play, Parks being listed as a D lineman, kicking out at linebacker, really helps that out. So it's a different look to try to confuse a young quarterback. So you have to, in the back of your mind, it's difficult to do it as a young guy, but understand that you're going to get some looks that you have not seen on film.
Deacon Taylor Young with a 23-yard return, and that'll set up the Dinos 1st and 10 at their own 38. It's a good field position for Viancourt. Hands this one off to Clark, and he is going to be brought down for possibly a loss of a yard or 2. So the run game that was clicking early for the Dinos being shut down in part by gentlemen like that.
Parks coming down the line there, making a play in the run game, a tackle for loss, a TFL on the stat sheet, and he had the assist on that pick 6 for Nixon Vole on the last series. So you got to keep an eye on this guy, number 99.
4 receivers out to the left of Viancourt, 2nd and 11 on their own 37. Viancourt drops back, was looking for the screen to Rowe, then he comes back. That one nearly picked off by Catley Joseph, who stepped in front. The initial play taken away, and then nearly another interception by the 4th-year corner, Catley Joseph.
Vinecourt trying to set up another screen. This time it's in the middle of the field, but there's such a mess of bodies there that he alertly moves to his right. You can see Clark was supposed to be the guy getting the football, but it's Parks all over him. He had a series, 2 series in a row. Parks all over the field.
Huge kick by Pipke. Vavra goes back to collect it, and he again wrestled to the ground, that time by number 53, Favor Ogbewi. And now let's go down and have a chat with Ryan Flaherty.
Well, thanks, guys. Obviously, the Huskies got some work going on the run game in that last possession with Riker Frank ripping off a couple big runs, but they're still missing a big piece of that run attack, and that, of course, is Josh Iwanchina, who has yet to play this season. Now, he seems to think he's ready to go, but they're still waiting medical clearance as he returns from that ACL injury he suffered last season. He is itching to get on the field, but from right now, it's still a week-to-week situation, guys.
Amonru throws it back inside. Daniel Perry with the reception, brought down, among others, by Ben Dobson.
That's the guy in this offense. We talked about it off the top. When he is seeing consistent looks, not even a lot, but just consistent, I believe this offense is at its best, and you see there, converts quickly for a first down to get the drive going.
Second reception on the game for Daniel Perry. 5 receivers in for the Huskies. Frank in the backfield. Frank flares out, swing to him. He'll get outside, breaks to the sideline, and then he is hauled down. Not an easy thing to do by any stretch. And it's Sauce Odomwingi able to finally bring down the bruising Husky running back.
Slow developing swing play to Frank. It looks like they were trying to set up an X block there with the receivers on the outside, but they just couldn't stay on it long enough. You see there was a piece initially there, but not quite the way the Huskies drew it up.
My mistake, that was Ajay in on the tackle. Amonru, some pressure. He'll step through the pocket, gets rid of the ball just as he's about to be brought down. Rhett Vavra with the reception, flags down. This might be, it's coming back. It's going to be a holding call against Saskatchewan. We saw moments ago Rhett Vavra came into the game 5th in Canada West in receptions.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 56. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So that'll put a dent in what looked to be a promising drive here for Saskatchewan.
But look at this play, though. Amonru being pulled by the jersey, still flicks it right on target. This guy's arm strength is something else, but you can see the hold right there on Olabimtan.
Holding up 95, Franklin Ibello. Now 2nd and 15 on the Husky 28. Halfback blitz, Amonru holds onto the ball, goes deep. This one intercepted. And again, it is Nate Beauchemin, his 2nd pick of the ball game.
Amonru had lots of time in the pocket there. Just floats one up into coverage. An ill-advised throw. The Huskies offensive line did a great job of providing protection on the play there. But the back end of the Dinos, at least from Amonru's view on the play, covered everything up.
Handoff inside, and that is Sua on the carry. So after just 1 interception through the first 3 games for the Dinos, 2 here in the first half, both by Nate Beauchemin. Beauchemin, 3rd-year safety out of Kelowna, has played some linebacker this season, but slides back into the safety spot here today. Three receivers out to Viancourt's left. Sua in the backfield, and the ball will come to him. Sua in space, but he is met and brought down by Hundeby and Nick Wiebe. Short gain for Calgary.
Credit both defenses, playing at a high level, fast and physical for the most part. Each has scored a touchdown on the night. You don't usually see that.
that gentleman, Joel Pipke, appearance as a Calgary Dino, former Calgary Colt in the Prairie Football Conference. And a kick right to the goal line. And back on the return there is Caleb Morin for the Huskies, and he'll get them out of the shadows of the goal post. And they will set up at their own 16.
Last week there were some snaps that Emenrud had some difficulty controlling. You can see high, low, to the side. They haven't been quite as off target today, but he hasn't caught them cleanly early in this ball game at least. And when you're operating primarily from the shotgun, that needs to be as smooth as possible. And I think if they can get that ironed out, it would really help the Huskies offense get going.
Perry in motion, ball comes to Kabongo, tries to break it out to the right, and he is met by Ben Dobson. We've mentioned his name a few times already. 5.5 tackles, 3 pass breakups on the season for Dobson, another second-year player. He also from Cochrane.
Cochrane producing a bunch of ballers, man. Dave Dickinson did say that that team out in Cochrane is stacked. I believe they did win a provincial title, so it must have been pretty good.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10 on the 16. Emenrud dumps that one out to Kabongo. Dobson and Chisda will bring him down after a gain of about 4. One thing Wayne Harris said to us when we talked was that he felt last year he wasn't sure that his team could match physically with other teams in Canada West. He feels it's very different this year.
Definitely. He's felt like it's just been some MAs, I should say, some missed assignments. Definitely not on this play. The Dinos defense has tackled very well and brought that physicality that Doug alluded to.
And a bad snap there, and Soley is going to have to back out of the end zone. There you see special teams coordinator, former head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears, Jerry Friesen. And a Dino safety gets them back to within 2. Snap right over the head. And Soley has no choice here but just to take a little bit of a step out. And that's got to be the worst feeling for a punter when you know, hey, there's no way. I'm not 6'9". I'm not getting up to pull this one down.
That's just a smart play from him. You could see Soley didn't scramble or anything. He was very calm in making that decision, and it was the right one. You don't want to risk potentially giving the Dinos a chance to jump on that ball for a touchdown in the end zone.
Dinos will take over at their own 35, now trailing by 2. Here's Clark, rather, and he's wrapped up, and that's going to be a loss of 5 yards. So the running game has gone a little bit quiet for the Dinos after a pretty hot start.
This game's getting physical, man. It might be the first team that scores a touchdown on offense wins this ball game. You can see Parks in there again. Weeb, number 43, another one of the Huskies in on that tackle, really rallying to the football nicely.
Huskies come in 5th in Canada West in yards allowed per game on the ground, 178 a game, but they've done a good job here in the second quarter against Clark and Sua. And that's going to be a time count violation, I believe, against Viancourt.
Time count violation. Calgary number 12. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And there you see a somewhat frustrated Wayne Harris. Tons of penalties in that game last week against the Rams. 15 for 112 yards for the Dinos. 15 for 160 yards for Regina in that Rams win. Just a crazy number both ways. 2nd and 20 now for Calgary. Carbone in motion, comes over top, but that ball will head out to the flat. And Clark is brought down, and they'll get back a few yards, but will still be forced to kick this ball away.
Easy defense there from the Huskies, playing off, knowing it was second and very long, coming downhill again. Another sure tackle. Points are going to be well earned and hard earned at McMahon Stadium tonight.
Clark hobbling, it seemed like, a little bit after that tackle as he headed to the bench. Pipke again in to kick for Calgary. And another high skying kick by Pipke. Here's Pipko. Oh, what a massive hit! And trying to get a look at the number. Just a huge collision as Pipko tried to turn the corner on that punt return. And you could just hear this whole stadium go quiet as soon as that hit happened. Can't, from our vantage point here, can't see the number. Yeah, it's number 80, Peyton Price, backup receiver for the Dinos.
Hopefully he's okay. They're moving his legs and his arms they're trying to now, which looks like a good sign, but that did not look good at the point of contact. You can see Pipko trying to stretch it to the outside. Price doing a great job in pursuit, keeping his shoulder to the outside there, and looked like helmet on helmet contact. Not like he meant to do that, but that's just kind of the way it shook out. And football is a contact sport, so hopefully Price is all right. Looks like they have his helmet off there. Nope, not quite yet, but they're looking at his neck area with his helmet still on.
Yeah, Pipko looked like he was bracing for the hit and kind of went down, and that led to that helmet-to-helmet contact. And Peyton Price, 6'1", 205, third-year player out of Okotoks, Foothills Composite. Certainly some concern on the faces of both teams. And as you said, Justin, yeah, it's a collision sport, and that's a big collision, and one that certainly everyone involved is aware of. And he's up and on his feet, and that's a great sign for Peyton Price. See both teams, I mean, it affects everyone on the field, and great sign that he's back up and off under his own steam.
That's hard from both teams' perspectives to just strap it up and go play again when you see something like that happen, but fortunately for Price and the Dinos, he walks off under his own power.
Ammonrood against zone floats that one in, and that's hauled in by Rhett Vavra. So Vavra's totals continue to grow on the season and in this ball game.
You can see the Huskies going into the hurry-up offense here. There's going to be under 2 minutes left after this ball is snapped, a chance to get some valuable points and potentially at least move into field goal range here late in the half.
Kabongo in the backfield, three receivers to the right of Ammonrood here on 1st and 10. Takes the handoff to Kabongo and then tried to dump it underneath, and that play got absolutely blown up. Liam Reed took that initial look away from Anton Ammonrood.
Look at this. Odom Wingy reading Kabongo's mail the whole time. Sees a play fake, comes back across to try to get the screen pass, and number 9 is there for the Dinos to give him a shot. It would have been a bigger one if Kabongo could have came up with the pass, but Odom Wingy read that play from the jump.
Second down for Ammonrood. Minute 40 to go here in the opening half. Pressure coming, but he sets up the screen. Here's Kabongo with blockers out in front. And Kabongo rolls and tumbles his way across the Calgary 50 before he is brought down by Chris Mushenza.
Finally, a screen pass works for one of these teams tonight. Ammanrud being patient against a free rusher off the edge. Drops it off to Kongbo, who has a convoy of the big fellas. Yeah, they can move too out in front of them. Look at this. 1, 2, 3 of the O-linemen out in front of number 7, leading the way. Love to see the Hoggies moving.
And I know DBs are tough, but if I'm a DB in that spot, I'm not sure I like the looks of having those gentlemen coming my way. Gideon Ajay, the injured Dino. He looks to be okay, and here's Ammanrud to bobble on the snap, and Kabongo just has to fall on it. So we've mentioned it a few times already, and another snap that's a bit high but manageable for Ammanrud, and he can't haul it in.
That's tricky, though, because it just throws off your whole timing of a passing play, or in this case, a running play. High into the left, you're trying to pull it down as fast as you can and stick it in the belly while there's a free defender coming off the edge there in Armstrong.
Brad Armstrong was right there and ready to hop on that loose pigskin, but Kabongo right there to hang on to possession for the Huskies. Vavra in motion to the slot position, and here's Ammanrud. Throws that one out to the sideline. And that will be short of first down yardage for Everett Iverson. Met by a wall of red jerseys. And that'll bring up 3rd and 4 for the Huskies. It would be a long field goal for Soley, be about a 50-yarder. Soley's career long is 47, so this will be a punt for Scott Flory and the Huskies. Under a minute to go here in the opening half. It's been an entertaining half, defensive, and here's a fake. Soley's going to hang on to it, and he gets popped. David Soley gets absolutely hammered by Sauce Otomingi. And there again you see Jerry Friesen. So a safety on the high snap, and now a fake punt that doesn't click for the Huskies, and the Dinos with some time on the clock.
Friesen looking on in disbelief, and why I think he has that look on his face is because it looked like Soley could get to the edge there. It looked like number 21 Caden Miller had a solid block on the outside to get him free for the first down, but he just never got there. He hesitated and then took a big lick. He felt some sauce.
Yeah, looked for a moment like Soley thought about kicking it on the run and then pulled it back in and decided to take off and run. And there is that huge pop.
You know, that's what happens sometimes when you have guys that aren't used to handling the football or running with it. Former Calgary Stampeders punter Rob Maver, who still lives in the city, and he was my punter and kicker at Guelph, always wanted to get these fake punts all the time, right? And then he'd get knocked upside the head, and he'd learn better.
And the ball loose? Huskies saying they have it. Nick Sua was brought down on 2nd and long as the Dinos just trying to kill some clock. And it is going to be Husky football with 12 seconds to go. So a bit of a turn here late, and probably a couple plays now for Anton Ammanrud. We'll get a look at it here. And it looked like the strip from Nathan Joulet, number 50, able to get that big left hand in on Nick Sua.
Big pile there, battle for the ball. That's a great look from our crew and camera people on the sideline, bringing it right into your living room or computer.
Here's Ammanrud back. Dumps it. Oh, he's looking for Caleb Morin, but a little bit high. And so now just 7 seconds left Probably not enough time to get some yardage to get into solely field goal range, but if they can get a quick hitter, maybe an opportunity for some points late for the Huskies. Second and 10 on the 42. Motion to his left, Perry and Morin. Another bit of a bobble snap. Amaru pulls it down. Lobs that one over top. And a little bit beyond the reach there of Caleb Morin. And that is going to do it for the opening half of play. A defensive battle, 2 defensive touchdowns, and a 2-point Husky lead, 11-9 over the pesky Calgary Dinos.
That's a perfect word to describe the Dinos in this first half. They've come out, shown that physically they're right there with the Huskies in this game. The Saskatchewan trying to bounce back after that stunning loss at home last week.
And now let's go down to Ryan Flaherty.
Well, Coach, a very defense-first first half there for you. What are you seeing from your defense, first of all, that's allowed you to keep this thing close here through 30?
Well, the defense has been playing tough. Bosch getting a couple of picks is great. That third down stop early in the game gives them some confidence. You know, they've done a great job on short yardage situations all year, but, you know, we're going to have to get some offense in order to win a game.
And, of course, I'm going to ask you about that. What do you have to do to adjust to try to generate some of that offense in the second half?
Well, we got to get everybody on the same page. Right now we got everybody running in every direction, and they're not coordinated at all. So we got a lot of work to do at halftime.
All right, thanks so much. Halftime is coming up here from McMahon Stadium as we take a look first, however, at the play of the week from Week 3 in the Canada West.
Is Alberta Golden Bears running back Matthew Peterson. Peterson's record-breaking night powered undefeated Alberta to an upset 26-22 win over the nationally number 3 ranked Saskatchewan Huskies. The fourth-year back from Brooks, Alberta, set a program record with an incredible 104-yard rush in the third quarter, which was also the second longest rush in U Sports history. His speed and power gave the Huskies defense trouble all night long as he picked up 295 all-purpose yards, including a career-high 191 rushing yards. The Canada West Defensive Player of the Week is UBC Thunderbirds defensive back Max Kennedy. While the UBC offense has deservedly garnered many headlines in their dominant 3-0 start, Kennedy and the T-Birds defense have performed at an elite level so far this season. UBC's defense was on a tear again in Saturday's 56-10 win over Manitoba, delivering 3 total interceptions, including 2 by Kennedy. Kennedy's fourth quarter pickoff in the end zone not only denied the Bisons of points, but also led to a UBC touchdown drive. Kennedy and his UBC teammates will now prepare for a big showdown with the Golden Bears in Week 4 in a battle of 2 undefeated teams. The Canada West Special Teams Player of the Week is Alberta Golden Bears kicker Jonathan Giustini. Coming off a Canada West Special Teams Player of the Week nod last week, Giustini once again played a key part in leading the Golden Bears to victory. Facing number 3 ranked Saskatchewan in Week 3, he finished with 4 field goals in a 26-22 Golden Bears upset. His night was highlighted by 2 field goals in a defensive second half, including an important 47-yard strike near the end of the third quarter. Giustini and his teammates will now prepare for a clash of undefeated teams as they head to Vancouver to take on UBC in Week 4.
A fabulous Friday night for football here in Calgary. We've got a slugfest going after 30 minutes at McMahon Stadium. Defense is leading the way as the Huskies have an 11-9 lead over the University of Calgary Dinos. And I'm pleased to be joined now by U of Calgary Athletic Director Ben Matchett. Ben, first of all, just get your thoughts on that first half. What did you think?
Slugfest is right, hey? Really proud of what I've seen from the Calgary defense, certainly. I know they've been decimated on offense a little bit this year with our quarterback going down a couple of weeks ago. So the defense needs to step up for them to have success, and so far they're doing that job tonight.
Saw the concern on your face when Peyton Price Tice went down there. I'm sure you feel that way about all the student athletes here, but just what goes through your mind when you see that?
It's never fun, right? Really thankful that he was able to get up and walk away, but mostly I was thinking about how incredible our medical staff is and how the hours and everything that they put in. I just said Dr. Andrew Buckley is out there as part of our medical team this year, and really happy to see Peyton get up and walk off on his own power.
And he's not the only alumni who's here on the sidelines. We've got some former players who are down as well for a game. We're going to be hearing from them shortly here in halftime. But what does that support mean when you have alumni come back, even just to be on the sidelines with the team?
First of all, the players love it. They love seeing the guys, especially in the pros with Jeshrin and the Philpott twins here tonight. Alumni is huge to the operation of this program entirely. Our fifth quarter association that raises so much in terms of funds to support or augment what the university provides. It really is a partnership between the alumni, the university, and our students to put athletics out there. And we've got the envy of the nation, I think, when it comes to our football alumni.
And, of course, so many highly decorated alumni because of all the success your program's had over the years. Last couple of years have been a little bit leaner here for the Dinos. So I'm curious, as you try to build back up into that championship contender program, what are the benchmarks that you look for in the program to see that you're making that kind of progress?
Well, the team we're playing tonight is certainly one of those that, we're chasing, and they've hit the high in their cycle, kind of coming in behind us in the last couple of years. And you know what? This it's hard work. I know our coaching staff puts in incredible hours recruiting, getting the guys up to speed. I know they did a ton of work in the offseason in the weight room. We feel like they're faster, they're bigger, they're stronger, and it's only a matter of time. They just keep with the plan. This is going to turn around, I'm confident.
You mentioned those Huskies, and you guys obviously faced off in some pretty big games in the last few years. I know Alberta's the traditional rival, but this has got to be a close second when it comes to Saskatchewan.
You know what? You add UBC to that mix, too. There's not many teams in this conference that we're not rivals with, and that's the beauty of Canada West football, right? Anybody can beat anybody on any day. 6 teams that have been traditional rivals for a really long time, and it just makes for excitement all the time.
Competitiveness extends to the recruiting as well. I'm curious how that's evolved over the years and just how competitive is the recruiting trail these days.
It's incredible, actually. There's so much more information available. So from film and recruits that are reaching out, it's so much more than just you get your guys out of the local high schools and hope they come here, right? There's a lot more work that goes into it. The academic side is the other piece that gets lost a little bit sometimes, just because our university keeps increasing the enrollment, both enrollment but also the admission average, and that's things that we have to work on. So recruiting actually is starting very early in the grade 9 and 10 in some cases to make sure that they're getting the courses that they need to get into university.
Well, it is certainly a competitive landscape, and it's been pretty competitive out here after 30 minutes. Ben, thank you so much for being here. Good luck in the second half.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Halftime continues. We'll have a couple former Dinos coming up after the break. Appreciate it.
Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
Back in Calgary as halftime continues here from McMahon Stadium. The Dinos trailing the Huskies just by 2 points, 11-9 after 30 minutes. And here with a couple of former Dinos who have had quite a few battles with these Huskies over the years, now in the CFL, Jeshrin Antwi, Tyson Philpott. Let's start with you, Tyson. You guys are obviously in town for a game tomorrow, but let's first of all talk about your Dinos past and what's it like to be back here tonight?
It's surreal, It feels like it was just yesterday I was on this field playing against the Saskatchewan Huskies, and it's kind of cool to see some of the guys that I played with still playing, and it's a close game too, so maybe we have some luck because we had some good games against the Huskies, but yeah, it's just really cool.
And in the CFL side of things, you had a big game last week. I know, first 100-yard game, got the touchdown. How are you feeling here as you're getting into those really important games now down the stretch, and obviously a big one against the Stamps tomorrow?
Yeah, no, we know it's a must-win from here out in the season for us. So it's kind of cool for me to get some momentum last game, and then be able to come here where I kind of call home and carry that momentum, and hopefully have another good game. So I just say everybody stay tuned, and we should have a good game.
Jeshrin, when you think about your days as a Dino, what stands out to you? Is there any memory, maybe beyond the championships, but anything other than that maybe sticks out for you that you really hold close?
Yeah, I think running down the tunnel and coming out here, there's nothing close to it. Even playing the CFL, we talk about it all the time, nothing comes close to it. So it's a close fraternity, and it's a brotherhood.
Do you have to still at times pinch yourself a little bit to say that you're in the CFL now, or are you kind of settled and you feel like a vet at this point now, or are you getting comfortable?
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get comfortable. First couple of years, I felt like a rookie, but now it's like, I'm getting settled. I got football with me in Montreal, I'm trying to teach him the ropes, so yeah, I'm definitely settled now. And
you got into the end zone recently too against Saskatchewan. Just how big was that for you, and just contributing to the cause this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty big first touchdown of my career. It was against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, so it's kind of ironic, but just a good season overall.
All right, Tyson, give me some breakdown here of the first half. What have you seen from your former team? What do they need to do to get the W here and get their first win of the season?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a 2-point game, so I think they just got to stay consistent. We've been able to get some of the short game, but maybe we can run some double moves and maybe go for a deep shot here. But I don't know. It's looked okay, so we can just keep it going and maybe we'll push it out.
Jeshrin, similar question, but I'm curious, you've got a quarterback making his second career start here today. So when you're playing with a quarterback who's just kind of learning the ropes, what do you try to do to help him out?
Run the ball, protect him, and just offensive linemen, keep him up as long as possible. Receivers, run full routes. And again, like football said, it's a full 60-minute game. So even though we're down by 2, onto the clock hits 0-0-0 in the fourth quarter, you keep chugging and you keep working. That's it.
And, of course, the running back says run the ball. That's the recipe for success. Thanks so much for doing this, guys. Best of luck tomorrow against the Stampeders and, of course, the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
As we take a look now at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Thank you.
This is what's happening right now. Alberta and UBC just underway. Regina will play Manitoba. That game is tomorrow in Winnipeg. And throw it back now up to the booth with Doug and Justin.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, huge couple games there. As we look at the scoreboard, we'll get some of those updates as we move along. But, Justin, a real defensive half, and we'll take a look at the couple interceptions that really turned the tables one way for one team and then flipped it right back in what looked like a bit of a mirror play.
Definitely, and it just changed the jersey colors really on the play. Both of these defenses playing at an extremely high level. And first, it was the Dinos defense getting the touchdown party started for the defenses. Nate Boschman reads the out route, man coverage, undercuts the throw from Amon-Rood and takes a little jaunt into the end zone and has some fun there, striking the pose with his teammates and almost at the same area of the field. Vaillancourt, Bull coming downhill on a little hitch route. Wide field throw leaves a lot of times for those defensive backs to get downhill and potentially get their hands on the football. Bull makes no mistake, and he's celebrating in the end zone with his teammates.
And it was a really physical opening half here between these two teams. A defensive battle, maybe not exactly what we expected, but it has been tough physical football in the opening 30 minutes.
It really has been hard hitting. The yards are going to be earned tonight. They're not going to be given, and they ain't going to be easy because the pads have been popping, the helmets have been cracking. It's a physical football game out here between these two rivals who usually we're used to seeing at the top of this conference a few years ago, right? The Dinos have had a bit of a downturn. Wayne Harris said it's a rebuild for this team, and he's really wanted them to start to meet the physical expectations and demands of the Canada West. Well, I think they've taken that message to heart tonight to match the level that the University of Saskatchewan brings week to week from a physicality standpoint. It has been rough and tumble. We've got 30 more minutes of this helmet smack in action.
Let's go down and talk to Ryan Flaherty, who's with Scott Flory.
All right, Coach, big, really physical first half there. Defense is kind of leading the way. How do you get out front here with your offense to generate some more scoring offensively?
Yeah, first down production and penalties, man. That's killing us. We've taken so much yardage off the board there with penalties, just bad decisions and mistakes. And we just got to clean it up, man. Play clean the second half. Defense is playing awesome. We got to do our job on offense.
Anton had the pick six early. How do you think he's responded after that bit of adversity early in the game?
Yeah, no, it's okay. He made another mistake there late, scrambling, all that kind of stuff. He's trying to make plays. You can't fault the kid for that, but we got to protect around him.
All right, thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Take a look at some of the numbers from the opening half. Rushing yards, both teams struggling a little bit to get the ground game going. 19 for Saskatchewan, 29 for Calgary. Ammonrood a little more success through the air than Vancouver, but Justin, what are you seeing with some of these numbers from the opening half?
It seems to me like slowly Ammonrood is starting to get it figured out through the air. This is a young Dinos defense that's been flying around, playing physical, getting their hands on footballs as well. But I think slowly but surely here, Ammonrood has at least the ability to get this secondary figured out and make some big-time airstrikes with that strong right arm he's got in the second half.
Anton Ammonrood, 12 of 19 for 104 yards. 2 interceptions, both by Nate Boschman. Xavier Vaillancourt, 5 of 12 for 39 yards and 1 pick. Leading receiver for the Huskies, Ted Kabongo, 32 yards. Gob Dang, 17 for the Dinos on the ground. Riker Frank, 4 carries, 41 yards. Matthew Clark, 7 carries for 25 yards.
I'd like to see Riker Frank get the ball more. That guy has some juice, some pep in his step. That's exactly what Flory described in terms of what he wanted to see from his team off the jump tonight. He wanted to see more energy, and I think we did see that. They weren't snoozing here to start the game at McMahon Stadium. Sometimes that bus ride, long trip, on the road, put you to sleep, but that hasn't happened here for Saskatchewan. They're fully focused. That defense has been flying around, looking like a bunch of Warren Musikas out there putting the hat on the football.
There you get a look at Riker Frank. David Soley will get set to kick things off here in the second half. It's been a beautiful night here at McMahon Stadium on the campus just off the campus of the University of Calgary. 11-9, the Huskies up, and Soley will get things underway. Doug McLean along with Justin Duncan, Ryan Flaherty. Here a little bit of Friday night football in the Canada West Football Showcase, and Soley gets this one down to Taylor Young. Avoids one tackle, and he's brought down by Seth Hundeby, and that is where the Dinos will set up on about their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10.
All right, fresh start from the young quarterback. It's a new half. Try to find a rhythm. He looked okay early on, was getting the ball out in the way you would want in terms of timing, but fresh half. Forget about the interception. Everything that happened in the opening 30 minutes is gone right here, right now.
Here is Vaillancourt. Receiver in motion to his left. Hands the ball off. And a decent gain there for that's Nick Sua. In on the carry for the Dinos. Pickup of about 5 yards.
We've seen a lot of run on first down tonight from the Dinos. Little bit of a mix of the three-step or quick passing game in there, but you don't want to come predictable if you're Jabari Arthur, the offensive coordinator. You want to make sure that you're mixing it up.
4 receivers to Vaillancourt's left. They'll come back to the right. That ball is caught by Gob Dang right at the 35. Looks like he will have first down yardage, and that's what they'll give him. So we've seen that a lot. Isolation for Gob Dang on the short side of the field, and Vaillancourt certainly happy to get the ball in the hands of his dynamic target.
Quick passing game, hitch route, and it looked like initially he got a favorable spot, but no, when he grabbed that ball for the first time, seemed like it was actually past the sticks to move the chains.
First and 10. Handoff again for Calgary, but right into a bunch of white jerseys, including that of Nick Wiebe and Matthew Clark. And now we'll head out to Vancouver, Alberta, taking on the UBC Thunderbirds, and it's Eli Hetlinger to the back corner. Thomas with the touchdown, and the Golden Bears midway through the opening quarter with the early lead on the UBC Thunderbirds in what is a battle for first place in Canada West. Now 7-3 the score, as the Thunderbirds have tacked a field goal onto that scoreboard. 2nd and 7 back here in Calgary. Vaillancourt, receivers in motion. Delay, draw, but picked up very well by the Huskies. Hundeby in on that play along with Nathan Joulet. Snuffs that drive out, and Joel Pipke back out to kick the ball away for Calgary.
Draw play gone wrong here. They try to set it up with Clark, but Joulet gets penetration, beats Stefanik in the middle of that interior line. Tackle for loss, punter on the field, ball back to the Huskies offense.
Pipke, high kick but short. Comes down to Vavra. Vavra just shy of midfield, and that's where Anton Ammenrud and the Saskatchewan Huskies will begin their first drive of the second half, trying to build on this 2-point edge.
If it ain't smooth, it's a problem, and I'm talking about the snaps in terms of the center quarterback exchange and shotgun for the Huskies tonight. It has thrown off timing and a lot of the rhythm for this Saskatchewan offense in the opening 30 minutes. Fresh 30 here. Let's get those snaps on point.
Jumbo package in for the Huskies. Handoff to Kabongo. Gets out to his right, breaks a tackle, gets across the Calgary 50, and then bowls his way near the 45. I think he'll be stopped at the 46. Never actually hit the ground, did Kabongo.
Kabongo doing a lot of chirping with that Calgary sideline. I really like what the Dinos have going on here. You just see Kabongo spin, move, staying on his feet. As Doug said, he never actually went down. Boschman trying to push him to the ground. He's like, nah, I'm not going down, especially I'm not going down in front of all the non-dressers for the Calgary Dinos who have been on the sideline, letting the Huskies hear about it all game long.
Play action, Ammenrud comes back inside. Jesse Kuntz with the catch for Saskatchewan.
I love the play action plays that Scott Flory has in his offense, and he seems to have a knack for mixing them in at the right time. A longish Kabongo run to set up a second and short situation. You ride the running back and then roll to the right a little bit, and easy completion to Kuntz for a first down. Great play calling from Flory.
They'll set up here 1st and 10 on the Calgary 35. Ball goes to Kabongo, and he is brought down immediately. Great penetration there by Sauce Odomingi.
Odomingi has been making a bunch of plays for the Dinos tonight. Every time I think of Sauce, I think of Sauce Gardner with the New York Jets. And Sauce is putting his special sauce on the Huskies tonight. Another TFL.
I was going to go, the sauce is hot. I'm like, we got all kinds of stuff we could have with that nickname.
Yeah.
Frank in motion, sets up to the right of Ammenrud. He'll drop back, has the open up the middle, and Ammenrud gets hit at the 29. So he will be short of first down yardage, brought down by Mushenza. And that will bring on Nick Soley in the field goal unit.
You don't see this often from Ammenrud. He does move around decently well, and he's putting his shoulders down, trying to get that first down, but sandwiched on the tackle by two Dinos defenders, Takes a couple to take down a big physical quarterback.
Just a 5th carry of the season for Anton Ammenrud. 30 yards. And now David Soley will set up for a 36-yard field goal. Schmulin with the hold. Kick is up, and it is good to extend the Husky lead to 5. 14-9 with 9:25 to go here in the second half.
Decent drive from the Huskies to start the third quarter. Get your kicker into field goal range, and Soley makes another one into that win that sometimes can be tricky here at McMahon Stadium. It's kind of picked up at times and died down at times, but he strokes another one through the uprights. Looking really confident tonight after coming in and not having a great make percentage on the season.
No, having only made 2 field goals all year, and he's got 2 tonight. 3 receivers to Viancourt's right. He'll hand the ball off, working his way through that Husky defense for a gain of about 3.
Another run play on first down. It seems like this Huskies defense is getting into a rhythm here in terms of expecting what's to come from the Dinos. I'd really like to see him mix it up, especially on first down. Go play action, maybe take a shot to try to loosen up this Saskatchewan D.
Matthew Clark with that carry for the Dinos. Injured Husky on the play as they will come out to attend to him, trying to see the number. But for the Dinos, we talked, Justin, about a really good early start on the ground, but the Husky defense, again, gave up a ton of yards last week against the Golden Bears and Matthew Peterson, but they've been really staunch defensively against that Calgary run, especially through the second and early parts of this third quarter.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen Clark have a couple of decent carries, 16 being his longest on the night, but really outside of a couple carries, Warren Musica there with the haircut, he looks totally different without that long hair that he's usually got. Has his defense playing very tough against the run tonight.
Lane Novak, the veteran Husky linebacker, third-year player out of Balgonie, Saskatchewan. It's a little bit of help on his way off to the Husky sideline. 7th in Canada West in tackles this season, 15.5. 4 receivers to Viancourt's right, Gallup Dang to his left. And a bit of miscommunication as Dang had the fly down the sideline and Viancourt had the out to the sideline, and the ball sails harmlessly out of bounds.
Just a miscommunication on the read route. Dang felt like he was going to have a step. That's an option route as the play is unfolding here. Viancourt is looking at Joseph, giving a decent amount of cushion there, anticipating the comeback route on the sideline, so he's thrown to a spot. Dang continues to go down the field on the go route, so they just didn't see it the exact same play on the option route.
Second year Gob Dang. And now Pipke with the kick. Flags on the play. Vavra is wrapped up very quickly by Mishenza. A couple flags back close to the line of scrimmage. You see Scott Flory and Anton Amadroud having a discussion as we'll get the penalties sorted out. Still a little bit of discussion between the officials.
Flory wants to know where his offense is going to start with the ball before he gives his quarterback a play call.
Well, the ball was in flight, holding Saskatchewan, number 45. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
You heard Scott Flory talk about the penalties, just 2 penalties for the Huskies, but 63 yards in penalties. This is their third, which will push them back to their own 20.
And you remember they had a holding call on a Pipco return in the first half. You can see it right there on the right side. costly in terms of field position.
Here is Kabongo right up the gut. Brought down by a host of Dinos, including Jacob Biggs. There you see Jacob Biggs. Fifth-year halfback, 2021 Canada West All-Star.
He was in Calgary Stampeders training camp and rookie camp, suffered an injury, caused him to miss the entire rest of the Stamps camp, but has visions of going back, making the roster in 2024. A leader, a veteran, a captain for this Dinos defense.
Ammonrood swings that one out. And just getting near the sticks is Pipko. Branson Pipko. We'll see where they spot it. They have given them the first down, so the Husky drive continues with 7:25 to go here in this third quarter. There is Ammonrood. 13 of 20 for 115, Lloydminster, Alberta native. Zips that one in, but met immediately is Caleb Morin by Isaiah Smith.
We haven't seen Rhett the Jet Vavra get loose deep yet, but those plays like this little hitch route underneath can set up those deep shots. Actually, that looked like it was a quick out route. Throw comes out in rhythm. Vavra makes a sure catch. I'm going to look my guy 88 to see if he gets deep later on in the game.
Third reception of the game for Vavra. Flags fly just as that ball snapped on 2nd and 5. Looks like this one's going to go against the Huskies. So not a lot of penalties, but penalties at key times for Saskatchewan.
Illegal procedure, Saskatchewan number 78. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That one will go on Derek Beaubien, third year right tackle out of Assiniboia, Saskatchewan.
And you can hear just our microphones on the field picking up that nat sound, we call it the natural sound of the Dinos non-dressers getting after it. They love that they helped cause that offside penalty on the offense.
4 penalties, 78 yards now for the Huskies. Low snap, Ammonrood hauls it in, goes long, and the ball knocked away, but there is a flag. Ball was knocked away initially by Jordan Chisda, but a late flag. It looks like this is going to be interference against Calgary.
Didn't I tell you I felt like there was a deep shot coming?
Yeah.
Rhett the Jet Vavra down the seam here. Ammonrood a little late with the football. I thought this was actually a pretty good defensive play.
So they are listening to you.
Pass interference, Calgary number 16. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He did get there a little bit early, and yes, Flory was listening to us in pregame, getting Perry some early touches, and he takes a deep shot there to Vavra, which draws a flag, and it was close, but I think Chisda clearly had his hands on the back of Vavra's shoulder pads there, so great call by the officials.
Yeah, as soon as you see that arm extend out a little bit, I think that call becomes a bit easier for the officials. Regardless, it moves the Huskies up to their own 45, 1st and 10. Fake to Kabongo. Ammonrood with some time. Lobs it. Deflected! Did he keep his feet in bounds? Ball's picked, but the officials are going to have a quick chat. Calgary ball! Third pick of the night for the Dinos. And the aforementioned Jacob Biggs comes up with it on the initial deflection. There by Sauce Odomingue. And the officials had all kinds of help to make that call from the Calgary bench. Dino football, and they're back in business on the ground. Be a gain of about 6 for Matthew Clark.
Biggs showing that his dislocated elbow suffered in Stamps camp has all but healed up there, and it looked like he might have got a shin or a knee or maybe his baby little toe there inbounds for the interception. Johnny on the spot Biggs making a big time play. He's got 2 plates in his arms, 6 screws holding his ulna bone together. I ain't no doctor, so I don't even know what that bone is, but guys playing with plates and screws in there, changing the momentum for the Dinos in this game.
Matthew Clark keeping that momentum for the Dinos as he rumbles for first down yardage. Lane Novak still on the Huskies sideline after going down a couple series ago. Tackle made there by Tanner Reiber.
Big boost to the Dinos offense to get Clark back in the lineup. He knows what it's like to run in the Canada West, and he is showing some juice tonight for Calgary.
Here's Viancourt. First down, Dinos. Play fake. Gets it over to Ding, who will pick up about 7 yards on that play. Now let's head out to Thunderbird Stadium in Vancouver for an update from the Thunderbirds and Golden Bears. And Garrett Rooker finds Shamar McBean open in the end zone. Touchdown, Thunderbirds. As they have taken the lead over the Alberta Golden Bears in the second quarter. Back here, the Dinos trying to climb back in, down by 5. Here's Clark. He will get right to the sticks. That'll be a first down for the Dinos. The drive will continue down at the Husky 33.
How about a packed Thunderbird Stadium there? Looks like a great atmosphere. That's what Canadian University football is all about.
There have been some great crowds. I mean, we've talked about the Husky homecoming game a couple weeks ago. Great crowd at Alberta a few weeks back where they were packing the berm at Foot Field.
Love to see it.
Exactly. Huge crowd at Thunderbird Stadium. 10-all in that battle of undefeateds. They'll meet in the last game of the season at Foot Field. Here is Clark, another big gain as the Dinos running game starting to pick up some steam here in this third quarter. Matthew Clark brought down by Nick Wiebe. And you get a look again at Xavier Viancourt. Did make one appearance a year ago at the end of the year, 0 for 3 in that ball game. Also 1 carry for 2 yards. Now making his second start. 3 receivers to his left. Fake to Clark. Viancourt will hang on to it, and he will slide for a first down. For Viancourt, just the 10th carry of the season, and Wayne Harris mentioned to us, he said he's not necessarily going to make a lot of plays with his legs, but he can when he needs to.
Definitely, and you see it there, and a little flash and dash at the end of it, signaling first down to his bench and the Huskies as well, doing what it takes to try to drive his team for a touchdown here.
First and 10 on the Husky 21. Good drive for Calgary. Hand off to Clark again off the right edge. Oh, and he was 1 step away from taking that one to the house. Tanner Reiber, one of the Huskies, in to make sure that he limited that gain to just short of first down yardage.
Clark here just running a simple zone run concept there. 1 tackler away. Touchdown saving tackle there. Number 28, Tanner Reiber, the safety, down to take away points from the Dinos, at least for now.
Clark again, as it's a steady diet of Matthew Clark making his first appearance of the season. And he will, it appears, get just enough for a first down for the Dinos. That will set them up just outside the Husky 10, so another first down possible for Calgary. Depending on where they spot this ball. Nope, they're going to spot it right at the 10. So First and goal, Calgary. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Time-consuming drive by the Dinos. Back to Clark. And it'll be a pick of about 4 for the Brantford, Ontario native.
Critical down here. Second and goal. It feels like one of those games where points are going to be few and far between. You got an opportunity to score. Let's see what Jabari Arthur, the OC, has for his young quarterback, Viancourt.
Barring penalty, last play of the third quarter. Second and goal, Calgary. At the Huskies 7, Viancourt with some pressure, steps up in the pocket, but he is met and brought down at the Huskies 6. Good tackle there by Reed Leclerc.
Full credit to the Huskies defense here, covered down on all of the routes that were in the end zone. Viancourt had to try to do it himself, but doesn't get in.
Comes up just a bit short. 5-point Husky lead heading into the fourth here on the Canada West Football Showcase.
The University of Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
The Saskatchewan Huskies lead the Calgary Dinos as we head to the fourth quarter. Doug McLean alongside Justin Duncan. The Calgary running game starting to show again some life as that third quarter went on.
It is a little bit. That big interception from Jacob Biggs, the veteran, perhaps swung the momentum in this game, but the Huskies still have the lead here, trying to bring it home on the road.
And out in Vancouver, a Dane Kapler touchdown has moved the Thunderbirds out in front as they are now up on the Alberta Golden Bears 17-10. And what looks to be an offensive showdown between two of the best offenses in the country in the Thunderbirds and the Golden Bears. Kapler has pushed the T-Birds to that 7-point edge in the first half. Back here in Calgary, Vincent Triambari looked to attempt a short field goal here from the 13-yard line to get the Dinos back to within a pair. And Wayne Harris, I think, trying to clarify where the ball should be spotted. Was dropped in the middle, which I think is accurate. Here you see both coaches, Scott Flory, of course, back-to-back Hardy Cup wins. On the right, Wayne Harris, Vanier Cup champion. Now we'll get the Triambari field goal. It is up and it is good. 14-12, the Husky lead is now cut. Looking at some of the numbers through 3 quarters of play, total offense, 168 yards for the Huskies, 112 for the Dinos. Matthew Clark now up to 67 yards on the ground. Riker Frank, no touches in that third quarter, 41 yards for him. Viancourt 7 of 15, 1 interception, 52 yards. Ammonrood 15 of 23 for 125 yards and 3 picks. Riker Frank back in the backfield along with Kabongo, who goes in motion to the right of the formation. And here is the ball to Riker Frank. Cuts it back inside, and a swarm of dinos. Maybe it's a swath of dinos, I'm not sure. Nonetheless, a lot of them brought down Riker Frank on that play.
Pack of dinos?
That's probably closer than swath or swarm.
I don't know what the word.
They were really big, so a swarm doesn't make sense.
I know where you were going with it.
That'll bring up 2nd and 6 for Saskatchewan on their own 39-yard line. Early here in the 4th. Ammonrood drops back, fires. That'll be a first down, Huskies, into the hands of Rhett Vavra. For Vavra on the ball game. 4th reception, as mentioned, came into this game. He's one of the leaders in Canada West in receptions. 5th for the start of this football game. Kabongo and Frank in for Saskatchewan. Fake to Kabongo, and Ammonrood will just throw it away. And caught by one of the reserves for the Dinos, and that gets a bit of a Bronx cheer from the... There we go.
Credit those guys. They brought a lot of energy tonight on their sideline, and that can help lift you up, right? If you're the Dinos and you've been fighting it a little bit in the first few weeks and haven't got a win yet, to have your guys cheering for you and giving it to the other team all night long can give you a lift. So full credit to their teammates, and that's what they are, teammates, because they help them get ready for the game, giving them a lift in Calgary.
Hammer, quick look inside, broken tackle, and that'll be another first down for Rhett Vavra and the Huskies. You saw the updated score from Vancouver, now 24-10. The T-Birds stretching their lead on Alberta.
Vavra still working across the middle. It's been his go-to route tonight, really working the middle of the field very nicely. And for the slimmer, faster dude, he's not afraid to go in there and mix it up. Slips the tackle, moves the chains again for the Huskies. He's had a number of first down catches tonight.
Second-year receiver listed at 5'11", 170. Ammonrood now finds Perry just shy of the first down sticks. So that'll bring up 2nd and about 1.5 yards for Scott Flory and Saskatchewan.
It looks like Ammonrood's kind of finding slowly a rhythm here. Quick one to Vavra across the middle, then gets it out to Perry, trying to build something on this drive.
Second and 2 for Saskatchewan. Just outside the Calgary 40. Here is Frank, and he looks like he'll get right close to the sticks. Odomengi, we've mentioned his name a lot. Sauce Odomengi with another spicy play there to limit the gain for Frank, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 0.5 yard for Saskatchewan.
Jumbo package coming into the game for the Huskies. Offense will stay on the field as Odomengi makes another tackle there. He's been stuffing the stat sheet and wreaking havoc on the Huskies offense tonight.
Huge play in this ball game. 3rd and short for Saskatchewan. Handed off to Frank, who should have the first down. He's met by a wall, but the initial burst should get him first down yardage. Just await official confirmation. They're going to bring the sticks in to measure this one.
The surge there, really key from Frank. It looks like he might have gotten enough, but this is going to be close. They're going to call in the chains for a measurement from the sideline. Flory has a great look at it because the sticks are on his side of the field in this potentially game-deciding 4th quarter as the Huskies try to hang on to this lead. I like the call. 3rd and short, turn around, give it to your big physical back in Frank so he can slam it downhill for a first down.
Did not make it by much, but Like you said, Justin, just that initial burst by Riker Frank.
You can see the offensive lineman getting low, firing out, creating enough of a seam there from Frank, who's scratched up. You can see he's bleeding there on the back of his shoulder. That's the kind of ball game it has been, scratching and clawing to try to get some points.
Now we're right back to that man, Riker Frank. Breaks it to the outside, turns the corner. Riker Frank with a gain of 16. His biggest run of the game. And that gives you a really good example of the yin and yang in terms of what Riker Frank can do with the ball in his hands.
This is art from a running back position. He uses the initial play to get past the first level. You can see kind of a faux kick out block there, but still, Frank sees that he can outrun angles after he gets past the first level of defenders there, uses his speed to get a first down for the Huskies.
Now Kabongo back in the game, and Ted Kabongo, he'll bounce his way down to the 7 as he looks like a slightly bigger version of Pinball Clemens, just bouncing off guys, picking up first down yardage.
Well, I was like, okay, I see you 3-4. Let me come in and do my thing. Slashing off tackle. Great job by the Huskies offensive line to get to the second level there. Double team, pass it off, help Kabongo get a first down run.
Jacob Biggs in on the stop there for Calgary. Saskatchewan in business here in the 4th. Ammonrood hangs on to it, throws it to Kabongo, bounces off one tackle and then gets wrestled out of bounds. They'll spot him just inside the 2-yard line as Ted Kabongo in this 1-2 punch with Riker Frank causing havoc for the Dino defense.
You can see there the fake to Frank. Kabongo slips out the back door, slips a tackle himself, and it takes Biggs wrapping him up. Again, almost another wrestling takedown style. What was that? Calgary wrestling?
Stampede wrestling.
There it is.
Yeah.
Lassoed him to the turf.
These guys might have a career in that if the football thing ends up not working. 2nd and goal. Huskies. Frank with a flag down. He will work his way right close to the goal line, but does not cross.
I mean, we are at the field where Dwayne Johnson.
There, exactly. There you go.
Was in at least training camp with Calgary State Peers, and then went on to become, obviously, the Rock. Can you smell what the Huskies have cooking right now?
And he'll still tweet Wally Buono just every now and again, just touching base. So even though he got cut, still a bit of connection. Looks like this is going to be offside. And not sure where the music was coming from, but we'll translate. Offside, Dinos. With the musical interlude to support it. And Wayne Harris looking a little exasperated as that's going to bring up first down now. And you can see, looks like lined up offside on the left side of that Dino line.
Great job by our crew, camera people, and everybody in the truck getting that shot. Clearly offside.
First and goal at the 1 for the Saskatchewan Huskies. High snap. Kabongo met in the backfield and pushed back. They're going to say forward progress brought him back to the 1. But another high snap, Justin, kind of caused a bit of timing issues on that play.
That could have been the difference between a touchdown and not getting in right there. High snap. Ammonrood does a good job of getting it down. I don't even think if that snap was on the money that it would have mattered right there, because he had multiple Huskies in the backfield. Dobson holding up Kabongo enough until the rest of his teammates, including Boschman, can get there and put him on the turf.
Dobson and Boschman have mentioned their names a lot here tonight. 2nd and goal, and Ammonrood not liking what he's seeing. He'll call timeout. This crucial point, 2-point lead right now for the Saskatchewan Huskies, trying to make this a 2-possession game. And Ammonrood heads over to the sidelines. Have a quick chat with coaching staff. And you see backup quarterback Griffin Sander just to the right of Ammonrood. First-year player out of Saskatoon. So the call is in, and now Ammonrood will head back to the huddle. It's been a steady diet of Riker Frank and Ted Kabongo here on this drive for Saskatchewan. And those men up front trying to open things up. Golden Bears have responded with a touchdown themselves. Huskies trying to do it here. Ammonrood is into the end zone. Direct snap to Riker Frank as they decide to get the ball right into his hands. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
I like it. That way they didn't have to worry about any quarterback, running back exchange. Ammonrood was lined up on the left as a slot receiver. Fooled a lot of people in here. Frank takes it, puts his pads down, gets into the end zone for the first offensive touchdown of the ball game. That could be a big one. You see Ammonrood starts the motion, goes out at slot, and then Riker Frank, comes up under center, takes the snap just like he's done so many times as a quarterback. I'm obviously being sarcastic, and takes it into the end zone. The Frank sneak gets it done.
Well, not the first time or the last time, I'll be fooled, but hey, Huskies got me, but they also got 6 points. At the end of the day, that's what they're looking for. Good play call there by Scott Flory as they put Frank under center. Now David Soley will try to extend the lead to 9. He does just that. 21-12. The Saskatchewan Huskies on the backs of a really strong drive here in this fourth quarter now have a 9-point edge over the host Calgary Dinos.
How about Scott Flory, though, digging deep in his playbook for that one on a night where I think it's smart to use some plays like that, call it whatever you want. Pseudo wildcat, gimmicks, gadgets. It gave them just enough for Frank to get into the end zone. I'd like to ask Frank how many snaps he's taken from under center, because we don't hardly ever see, unless it's short yardage, the Huskies with Ammonrood even go under center. So full credit to him for taking that exchange. We saw him do it tonight, get a touchdown last week for the University of Regina Rams. Linebacker Braden Wagg scored 2 touchdowns in a very similar fashion. So some different touchdown scores than you would usually think, or touchdowns in different ways, I should say, the last couple weeks in the Canada West.
Soley will kick it back to the Dinos. This comes down to Taylor Young. He's across the 20. Gets up to the 25, 26 before he is brought down. And now let's go down to Ryan Flaherty.
Riker, how much time have you spent lining up under center in the past? Have you done a lot of reps at quarterback?
I can't say I have. I think that's only the second or third time. I did a couple snaps in high school, but nothing other than that.
Guess it takes whatever you can get to get into the end zone here tonight. It has been a physical game. How hard has it been to get those yards on offense?
Oh, I mean, these guys are super physical, but we got a physical O-line too, so coming out of halftime there, we just said to the boys, we got to be more physical, we got to dominate that line of scrimmage, and we finally pieced it together, get in the end zone.
All right, congrats on the TD.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, Ryan and Riker. Viancourt with some pressure brought down. Sack for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And it is again Chaz Walker. Don't make it in that case. That's Nathan Joulet stepping across to bring down the Calgary quarterback. So that'll make it 2nd and 11 on the Dino 25. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. Viancourt with time. Throws it to Carbone, who's hit. Ball comes out. They're going to rule a catch and him down. but just a short gain of a couple yards for Calgary, and they're going to be forced to punt this one away.
That's the type of complementary football that Scott Flory wanted to see from his team in this game, especially in crunch time in the fourth quarter. The offense goes and scores a touchdown to extend the lead. Defense comes out, physical series, sack on first down, pops the ball loose even though it was called a catch on second down to force a 2 and out. The Huskies starting to feel it a little bit and get in a flow here on both offense and defense.
Pipke, another high kick down to Vavra. It's going to be no yards. Vavra with a good return gets up to the 46 of the Dinos before he's pushed out of bounds. Flag on the play will be no yards against Calgary. So again, good field position here for the Saskatchewan Huskies trying to build on this 9-point lead.
Indeed, they're going to add to it with this penalty, you would think. Credit Vavra, though. You mentioned it earlier. He's only 170 pounds in traffic, making that catch. Feisty after it, fighting for yardage for his team.
No yards. Calgary number 53. As the return is greater, the penalty is declined. First down, Saskatchewan.
You not like that, 10?
First down, Huskies. As the gain outweighed the no yards penalty. And now Kabongo again on the ground. And the Huskies starting to feel it on the game. And let's go back out to Vancouver as the Alberta Golden Bears trying to get back into this football game against the UBC Thunderbirds. And it's their quarterback, Eli Hetlinger. Drops this one into the corner. Touchdown, Alberta. They now trail 24-17 in what has been an offensive shootout in the first half in Vancouver. It's the defensive game of the week here, and maybe the offensive one out on the coast.
That's a great throw from the Book of Eli.
Here is Riker Frank, who will pick up first down yardage. And that will extend this drive with just over 6 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
Credit Herford on the catch there for the Golden Bears in the end zone, making a great adjustment on that ball, but perfectly placed from Hetlinger. Haven't seen too many of those tonight from either of these teams, but I think Ammanrud's getting into a bit of a rhythm here in the money quarter, the fourth quarter. This is where you need to bring your best, and I think we're seeing it from Ammanrud and the Huskies.
Ammanrud goes right back on the ground to Kabongo. Big burst up the middle. Kabongo carrying players with him all the way down to the 6-yard line. Ted Kabongo has met the challenge that Riker Frank threw down on this dynamic duo, showing their stuff here in this fourth quarter.
Huskies offense starting to lean on people. Simple double team, work to the next level, and look at that big hole. You could drive a production-sized truck through that hole. Kabongo putting his shoulders down, getting physical at the end of it as well.
And again to Kabongo. The hole opens right up. Touchdown, Huskies. Ted Kabongo into the end zone. Huskies now up 27-12.
Hop, skip, and a jump into the end zone for Kabongo. That might be the Kabongo drive. Had that big lane and then spun off a couple tackles to get it down there inside the goal line, and then the big fellas opening it wide open for Kabongo to skip through into the end zone. Skip to my Lou and do a little dance.
Do a little dance. He needed the musical interlude we had a few minutes ago. Here's Soley now to tack on the extra point. He does just that, and it is now a 16-point Saskatchewan Husky lead as the running game has taken over this fourth quarter for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Let's credit the big fellas up front here, okay? Left to right, Warwick, Palumbo, Olabimtan, Curtis, Bobian, getting it done on that drive for the Huskies. When they need it most, you know the Dogs are probably going to be able to get it done on the ground, and that's why Kabongo is dancing. Those big fellas up front have taken it to another level in this fourth quarter.
125 total yards on the ground for the Huskies, 72 contributed by Ted Kabongo. He and Riker Frank each with a touchdown here in this fourth quarter, as the Huskies have stretched that lead to a pair of 2-point converted touchdowns.
Over 50 of those yards for Kabongo coming in this fourth quarter. It was tough sledding, but the Huskies, Scott Flory, have stayed with that run game, and it's paying dividends in the fourth quarter.
Solely gets this one down to Matt Sibley, who is met at the Dino 19 and driven back. But the Dinos will set up first and goal at the first and 10 at the 19. Let's go down to Ryan Flaherty with Ted Kabongo.
All right, Ted, you saw your running mate Riker Frank get to the end zone in the series before. Was it the case of I gotta do what he's doing?
Hey, we're just trying to help the team win at any point, you know. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of us. We responded well in the second half, and we just got to keep this stuff going.
Yeah, it was tough sledding for you offensively in the first half, but finally being able to generate some offense and some scores here in the second. What's been the difference?
Just trying to stay consistent. At the end of the day, there were just small mistakes that we had to change and adjust at halftime, and we did that, and we just got to keep the ball rolling on that one.
All right, congrats on the TD.
Thank you very much.
Ty.
Thanks, Ryan and Ted. Viancourt, he's sacked at his own 15-yard line. So that'll set up second and long now for the Dinos. Of course, Ted Kabongo, former UBC Thunderbird and Maine Black Bear. So we're making his way to Saskatoon and the U of S. Viancourt, second and 14. Hundeby comes on the blitz, goes to the wide side of the field, coming back inside and brought down short of first down yardage. Catch made there by Matt Sibley. First of the day, and the Dinos again will be forced to punt. Another 2-and-out.
The Dogs are barking now. 2 touchdown drives followed by 2 2-and-outs from the defense. Complimentary football all over the place. They're tilting the field with field position as well. Vavra had a nice return on the last drive. Let's see what he's got here as the Huskies try to bring this one home emphatically.
Vavra and Pipko back for the Huskies. And this is Pipko. Good return. Another big hit. Second one Pipko's been involved in here at the 31-yard line.
Dinos elect to kick away from Vavra, which is probably smart, but there was nobody on contain there on the punt coverage unit with Pipko, as there is a big-time collision. It has been physical tonight. Pipke there, the punter, making a touchdown save and tackle. Punters are players too, okay?
So it's Pipke on Pipko. And it's first down.
Pipke on Pipko crime.
And now here's Kabongo again and gets to second level before he's brought down just short of first down yards. It'll be a pickup of 8 for the Husky running back.
Kabongo running physical through the middle of the defense there, slicing and dicing, juking and jiving, dancing in the end zone. Huskies feeling it.
Come on, team! Blow them up!
Second and 2 Huskies on the Dino 23. Riker Frank in behind Ammonrood. Here is Frank. Brought down just shy of the 15-yard line by number 95, Franklin Ebelo. But it is a first down for the Huskies. Changes on in that front 7 for the Dinos, just trying to keep some fresh bodies on the field, I think, right now, as again, it has been a steady diet of Frank and Kabongo here over the last quarter and a half.
That's right, Kabongo and Frank and Kabongo back and forth as they've worn away and worn down this Dinos defensive front.
Jumbo package in for Ammonrood and the Huskies. Ammonrood to throw this time. And it's picked off! And he's got open field! It is again Nate Beauchemin. Flags in behind the play. Beauchemin being chased down by Vavra. Touchdown, Calgary! We do have flags in behind after the interception. Franklin Abelo down on the field for the Dinos. So I think the interception is going to stand. It's a matter of whether the touchdown stands or not. But after a steady diet of Kabongo Frank, as we've said, Ammonrood, fourth pick of the game, third to Nate Beauchemin.
That was surprising to see. Let's see what the flag is first. The chains are moving, at least one of them. But you would have thought they would have stuck to the run there just to grind this game away.
Here's that throw, and again, Beauchemin comes from his safety spot, steps in front. We won't see, there's action sort of back to the left of your screen there that brought all the flags.
That's just a great play from a safety, reading the eyes of a quarterback. Beauchemin playing center field, it looked like cover one, undercuts the out route there. You can see it was supposed to go to Pipko. But Beauchemin doing a great job, just like you teach it. That's how you coach it. Follow the eyes of the quarterback from that safety spot and go and get the football.
Third pick, second touchdown for Beauchemin. And the concern on the field, however, right now is for Franklin Ubelo. Now let's go down to Ryan Flaherty.
Yeah, guys, really interesting scenario played out. Before that play, the Huskies bench was screaming they wanted a timeout. Clearly, the coaching staff saw something in the defensive formation that they didn't like, and obviously that concern was justified. The referees didn't hear the calls for timeout, and, well, you saw how it played out on the field.
Thanks, Ron. There you see Scott Flory still trying to get a bit of clarity from the officials. So we got a few things going on. We got that happening. We got the Ibello injury at about the 35-yard line. So we've got the flags on the play, and right now we've got both teams setting up in preparation for a convert. And there you see Ardis Olekson. And now over talking to Scott Flory, Duncan Nass. We'll now just get the call momentarily.
During the return, we have unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 95, and unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 69. The penalties will be balanced at the point the ball was held during the return. First down, Calgary.
So the offsetting majors will wipe out the touchdown and bring the ball back, and it'll be spotted in and around the 37 of the Dinos. And there you see Beauchemin, can't believe it, as the two offsetting penalties will wipe out his second, not his interception, but his second touchdown of the ballgame.
His third interception, which ties a single-game school record with Darren Peterson going way back. But I think that call, the reason it was ruled that way is because these unnecessary roughness penalties or objectionable conducts happened as Beauchemin was running the other way before he got to the end zone.
And Abelo getting some help back to his feet. So the Calgary penalty was on Abelo. This view may give us a sense of what was happening there.
You can see exactly what happened there. Great shot from the camera guys and the crew. Beauchemin was following Vavra to the strong side. Vavra came back underneath to the weak side, and Boschman recognized the pass wasn't going to him, so he jumps the other route of Pipko and takes it back. He wasn't playing cover 1, he was playing cover 0 in the right spot at the right time, makes his 3rd pick of the game.
Franklin Abelo helped off by his brother Sylvester Abelo and Brad Armstrong to the Dino bench, and now Viancourt throws the out to Sibley right at the marker. First down Calgary, so the Dinos still in business, down 16. I mean, the touchdown on the pick would have obviously helped, but still in a good spot here with the ball back in their hands. First and 10, Calgary. Ball on the Husky 48. 2 receivers to Viancourt's right. He looks that way, and now he'll go long. He's got Gobb. Dang! Hauls it in. No, he doesn't. He would have been out of bounds, but great effort by Dang. In on the coverage there for the Huskies, John Stoll.
You can see the athletic ability from Dang going up and getting that football, trying to high point it, but great job from Stoll, who's usually a linebacker, out in coverage on a receiver, using the sideline as his friend, squeezing Dang down so there was no room to get even a baby toe in bounds.
Stoll, an all-star linebacker last year in Canada West. Viancourt, he is brought down, held on to the ball for a split second too long. That split second allowed George Idoko to bring him to the ground. Another sack for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Idoko's been creating a lot of havoc tonight. Might not show up on the stat sheet, but Goulet has at least 1 sack because of him in there. That's just a clean win on John Boss. Up the field, inside move, quarterback sack. Put it on the stat sheet.
So the Dinos, with a little over 2 minutes to go, forced to kick. Pipke off the side of his foot, and that one will bounce out of bounds. And we'll look ahead to next week's action. Friday night, it'll be the UBC Thunderbirds in a great battle taking on the Saskatchewan Huskies. Dave Thomas, my friend to my right, Justin Dunk, and Heather Morrison will be on the call of that one. And then in Edmonton, 3 hours up the road from here, the Regina Rams will take on the Golden Bears. Darren DuPont, Matt Young, and myself will be on the call of that. And then next Sunday, October 1st, the Calgary Dinos will head to Winnipeg to take on the Manitoba Bisons. Andrew keeps it on the ground this time to Kabongo. Pickup of about 2 yards there. We're going to give him 1 actually, so make it 2nd and 9 coming up for the Huskies, as they will just try to milk the clock here late in this 4th quarter.
I would guess, especially after seeing Eminrude throw that 4th pick of the game, that Huskies are going to stick to the ground here.
They do put it in the air to Kabongo on the screen. Bounces inside, and he will spin his way just shy of the first down marker. So a safe pass play there by the Huskies, and that'll get them close to a first down. Look ahead now to the Saskatchewan Huskies schedule. Of course, wrapping up this game here tonight in Calgary. We just mentioned the game next week at home against UBC, then in Edmonton against the Golden Bears. They'll be at home against these same Calgary Dinos in Week 7, and to wrap up the season, they will head to Mosaic to take on the Regina Rams. Hard to believe we're already at this weekend, the midway point of the Canada West season. It feels like it's flown by. You take a look at the injured Dino there. That's Steen Rasmussen. Now looking ahead for the Dinos. Again, the game next weekend in Winnipeg, then home against the UBC Thunderbirds. Up against these same Saskatchewan Huskies at Griffiths, and then they'll close the season here at McMahon Stadium against the Manitoba Bisons. Amarud to Kabongo, puts his head down, and he will smash his way for first down yardage. And that might just do it here with a little over a minute to go. First down upcoming for the Huskies. Helmet off for one of the Dino players. That is Sauce Odomingi.
He's been great for the Dinos tonight, but fortunately for the Huskies, Kabongo has been better. They really came on in the second half, and in the fourth quarter, Kabongo got it done. He looks like he's cramping there a little bit and will walk off the field, but big, physical, tough run there on third down. It's probably all but end this game as he goes down to two knees there, really having trouble getting off the turf.
You mentioned Sauce Odomingi. 4 solo tackles, 4 assisted tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He's been really all over the place for this Dino defense.
In on a bunch of other tackles as well. 9 has been flying around.
Second-year player from right here in Calgary, played at Notre Dame. 7 tackles and a tackle for loss last week in the loss against the Rams. As Kabongo struggling a little bit to get off the field here. 15 carries, 83 yards on the ground for Ted Kabongo. Another 5 receptions and for 47 yards through the air.
Kabongo really took over in this fourth quarter. Little hurdle there. First down run lets you know about it too. And then the big boys opened up some lanes for Kabongo, and he finished off these runs in a physical manner all the way to the end zone. Hop, skip, and a jump. And the Huskies had control of the game.
Dino's done a great job on the Husky running game, and then really in this fourth quarter is when the Huskies able to march the ball on the ground, and they continue to do so here now with Riker Frank. Makes a little move at the line of scrimmage and then cuts back inside. He'll get a gain of 7. And that will make it 2nd and 3 on the Dino 45-yard line. Mentioned Kabongo's 83 yards. Riker Frank now himself also up and over 80 yards at 81. And he'll add to that total here. Riker Frank cuts it back inside with a nice move. Looked like he was going to the outside, and then that hard plant with the left foot cuts it back upfield. And Riker Frank now getting close to a 100-yard day on the ground.
Yeah, it looked like Frank was going to go over 100 there. There was a seam, and it was oh so close to Frank capping this one with a stylish touchdown run, but he can't shake those Dinos off him to get home. Still, solid run for a first down.
Just over 20 seconds now. Amarud takes the snap, gets it to Riker Frank. He'll bounce it to the outside and is brought down to the 25-yard line. In on that tackle for the Dinos, Nathan Tights, their nose tackle. And 11 seconds to go here in this ball game. The Huskies are going to improve to 3-1 on the season. The Dinos will fall to 0-4. As Amarud will take the snap, take a knee, and take the win. The Saskatchewan Huskies come into Calgary, and they were pushed for a good stretch of this ball game, but a strong fourth quarter propelled them to their 3rd victory of the year, a 28-12 win over the Calgary Dinos.
It was tight at halftime, 11-10 for the Huskies, and you heard the guys talk about it when they were interviewed in the second half. Frank and Kabongo, after their touchdowns, they knew they just needed to come out and be more physical in the second half. Full credit to Wayne Harris and his group stepping up and playing with these Huskies in a score that I think a lot of people thought would have been even wider than this, especially at halftime. I think it's a confidence-building game, as weird as it seems to say, for the Dinos. And importantly for the Huskies on the other side, and Ammanrud, the young quarterback, they bounced back after suffering that first home loss since 2018. That's going way back, and get a victory on the road.
Ted Kabongo, a huge part of this victory tonight. A touchdown for him in the fourth quarter. It's a 28-12 victory for the Huskies over the Dinos here on the Canada West Football Showcase.
Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
There you look at the crowd here at McMahon Stadium following a 28-12 win by the Saskatchewan Huskies over the Calgary Dinos. Doug McLean alongside Justin Duncan. Justin, as we said before the break, a game that was tight, certainly at half, a slim 2-point lead for the Huskies. But really in that fourth quarter, it was the offensive line and that ground game that just really turned this thing around.
It was. Kabongo got it started. Frank had a touchdown in there, and then Kabongo provided the exclamation point. Frank, 14 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Kabongo, 15 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown as well. When they needed it most, the Huskies went to their bread and butter, so to speak, and ran the football and got a win on the road.
I'm not sure who's the bread or the butter, but both of them worked pretty well together between Frank and Kabongo. Anton Ammanrud, 20 for 30. We talked in the opening about this pass defense for the Dinos, the worst in the country. They played pretty well today. Nate Boschman, 3 picks, looked like 2 touchdowns, ends up being credited with 1. But that pass defense really forced the Huskies to rethink how they attack this Dinos defense.
Definitely, and you could see early on that the Huskies were trying to beat the Dinos through the air, partly because of that last-ranked pass defense overall, but Boschman stepped up. I thought the rest of that secondary was solid. They didn't really give up any chunk yardage plays, deep shots down the field. They made the Huskies earn it tonight and altered their game plan, especially at halftime, to come back and commit to the run game.
Let's go down now to Ryan with Ted Kabongo.
Absolutely, Ted. You're getting a lot of love for some of the Calgary guys. Obviously, you're from Calgary, so what does this win mean to you?
It feels great, especially doing it in front of friends and family, so it's definitely, it was a slugfest, like you said, anything can happen in Canada West, so it was actually a really good game, and I'm happy that we came out with the W, especially in front of my family and friends.
You were just saying before we started here, you weren't surprised by what you saw from Calgary today. I think you're trying to let other people know that this is a good team.
Hey, this is Canada West. I think, honest to God, I'm going to be biased towards Canada West. Anything is possible in the Canada West, so we just got to make sure that we come in here, and it doesn't matter who we play, we got to start from the 0th minute, the first minute to the 60th minute, so yeah.
Early in the season, it's been hit and miss a little bit in that run game tonight. The way you guys were able to finish this game on the ground, what does that do for you as a group in that run game here as you move along in the season?
Hey, it's just consistency at the end of the day. We got to make sure that we stay consistent and all. It was a great second half. We're not satisfied right now, This is only game 4. We still got, 5 games? 4 games left, actually. 4 games left. We got 1 and then the bye, but we just got to make sure that we stay consistent with the run game from the first minute to the 60th minute.
And obviously, after the loss last week against Alberta, you hadn't never lost at home against as a Husky, but how were you guys able to kind of get things back on track and get the win here tonight?
I think it just shows our maturity. At the end of the day, it was a loss, but we just got to move on. We still got a lot of season ahead of us. Even with this game, we came out with the dub. We'll celebrate tonight, but then it's on to next week, So we just got to take it 1 week at a time, and that's the best model that coach comes up with. We got to stay 1-0. So we just got to go week by week.
And then next week, obviously, you got UBC coming in. I'm sure that's one that you're also looking forward to. It's like a reunion tour for you here mid-season. Early thoughts on that matchup next week?
Honestly, I'm not really thinking about that right now. I want to just go with the guys, celebrate with the guys, and then we're on to next week against UBC. All I know is going to be a great game. Like I said, anything's possible in Canada West, so we just got to make sure that we fix our X's and O's today from this game, and then we just move on.
All right, well, enjoy this win, and good luck getting ready for those Thunderbirds.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's send it back up to Doug and Justin.
Thanks, guys. And I mean, the running game, obviously a huge key for the Huskies here today. We mentioned some of the numbers for Anton Ammanrud, 20 of 30, 170 on yards, but it's the 4 interceptions that could have swung things in the way of the Calgary Dinos here today.
Definitely. He needs to get those cleaned up, especially if the Huskies have visions of winning another Hardy Cup and potentially making a run to the Vanier Cup. He's still young, so there's going to be errors like this, and it's better that they come in a loss because you can learn from them, if it's a win. You'd rather not have it be a loss like last week. And some of these, I don't think necessarily were all his fault, right? One got tipped up into the air. Jacob Biggs somehow got a piece of his body down inbounds. That last one by Boschman kind of was a circumstance where he was chasing Vavra in coverage there and fell into the play, but still made a great play. So I don't think it was a bunch of terrible mistakes from Ammanrud. He still has a lot of arm talent and high upside for this Huskies team.
We talked a lot about Xavier Viancourt being a young quarterback. Can't forget Anton Ammanrud, first year as a starter for the Huskies too. Despite those 4 picks, still a big game for the Huskies. 28-12 win over the Huskies. We'll be back in a moment here on the Canada West Football Showcase from Calgary.
The University of Saskatchewan changed this province and the way the world sees us. Our next chapter is now here. Help us create a brighter future. We can't do it without you.
With our vision and spirit and the generous support of our community, we will make the world a better place.
Together.
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 Together, we will be what the world needs.
It was a battle of two teams looking to get back to the winning ways. The Saskatchewan Huskies coming off a loss last week against the Alberta Golden Bears. The Calgary Dinos looking there for their first win of the season. And a physical football game that was close at the half. Just a 2-point lead for the Saskatchewan Huskies, but a big push by the green and white in the fourth quarter, led by their ground game, and Riker Frank and Ted Kabongo put them over the top for a 28-12 victory to move to 3-1 on the season. The Dinos fall to 0-3. Next week, the Regina Rams will be in Alberta to take on the Alberta Golden Bears. UBC Thunderbirds will be in Saskatoon to take on the Huskies, both on the Canada West Football Showcase. Ted Kabongo, a huge part of the victory here tonight. 28-12, the Huskies over the Dinos on the Canada West Football Showcase.